Audio is good? Nice. Audio is good. Good to know. Oh yeah, my pleasure. Thanks for posting it. Who are the guests? We're gonna see. As of right now, I got a special guest joining us soon. Thank you very much. Thanks to Maestros with the Beard Game. Hello, Cooking Ma. How you doing? Should make a podcast gabbing with Gabba Gulak. Yeah, I think we'll drop the Gabba. I think we'll just do gabbing with Gulak. But I do want to do that. Do I accept fans' DMs on Instagram? No. Kev Wayne, morning. How you doing, man? Everybody good? Pineapple Andy made that test Andrew Martin joke once, and I can never not say it in response to a mic check. Test. This is a test. Is that guitar the special guest? My guitar? No, that's just my guitar. Drew singing that. Yeah, I'm just singing. Yeah, I play a little bit. I don't know, maybe I'll mess around with some stuff. But right now we're going to get some friends on here. You're excited for SmackDown? Awesome. Awesome. Am I giving Elias lessons? Not anymore. He has surpassed me, I think, in skill. Hello. How you guys doing? Let me see here. Just making sure my activity feed's still working. Do those emotes still work for everybody? I don't think it changed. Yeah, Yuta's not. All right, good. I see they are. Yuta will not be joining us today. He just told me he's going to bed. So if you want to shoot him a message on Twitter, tell him he's a little weenie. He is a little weenie man. Yuta, you suck. He's not here. Denver is joining. Denver right now is in the middle of a very heated poker game. He is busy playing poker. He's actually got a lot of money on the line. It's amazing. Yeah, he does this. He plays a mobile app on his phone. No money. But then he'll do a Zoom conference call with a bunch of his friends. And then he will bet money over Venmo with his friends, and they pull it all up, and it's actually pretty crazy what he does. So that's what he's doing right now, and I am here alone tonight. For now, we have a guest, at least one guest, joining us shortly. So yeah, it'll be a fun hang tonight, a good catch up tonight. What's the meaning behind no chant? If you have the WWE Network, I suggest you go and check out 205 Live, specifically the episodes where I face off against Akira Tozawa, maybe about 2 years ago. So we did a whole feud in 205 Live based around his incessant, annoying chanting, which is something he does quite a bit. Old Chris Jericho, Christian Aaron, 1, 2, 3. There you go, Big Cat 8, giving you the little skinny on that. Trey Warner, what's up, man? How you doing? Gotta admit that all the WWE superstars that streams, I'm the most normal looking person away from WWE that streams. What does that mean? Does that mean that's an actually really funny statement? I'm the most normal looking person. Does that mean like I look like not how I look on TV, or does that mean like everyone else is just insane looking? Like specify that. Trey, you can follow me on PS4, but I don't do friend requests on PS4 because it would just get I would get swamped. All right, all the other WWE streamers look weird. I'll take that. That's cool. Let's see what else. Did I get my PC just yet? No, but I did get a brand spanking new monitor in today, which I was not expecting to get. So I tested that out, playing some Animal Crossing on it, and it was pretty sweet. And then I got What do I got coming in? I got the PC coming in. Should be Wednesday. Should be Wednesday. I have the most flattering lighting in my house. Thanks. I jerry-rigged my lighting setup. I take a lot of pride in that, actually. I just want things to look good. Put my year and a half of film school to use for my Twitch stream. Alright, let's see how this goes. Do we have liftoff? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello, my friend. You are muted. You are very muted on my end. Can you hear me? He is super muted. Spoiler alert. Alright, he's connecting to audio. Yo, there he is. We have liftoff. We have liftoff. Yo, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now?
I hear you fine. Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Alright, cool. Hey, do you want to see what people are chatting about us?
Sure. Oh, okay. How do I see that?
So, what I do is I load it up on my phone so I have a second screen.
Okay.
But if you go to twitch.tv/Drew Gulak, you'll see a live chat that is ongoing right now. I think it says we have 40-something viewers. I don't know. We might have more, might have less, but it usually goes up throughout the day. But
Twitch.tv/Drew Gulak.
twitch.tv/Drew Gulak for all of your gaming with Gulak needs.
Man, I'm gonna have to watch my mouth and stuff.
No, we can say whatever we want on this channel. It's great.
Okay.
Yeah, there's no TR agents lurking in the room. What are you watching?
Bunch of Max.
What are you watching on TV?
Natalie's watching something. Can you turn that down a little bit? What is it we're watching? What's it? Oh, this is a commercial. No holds barred and no Danhausen to stop you from swearing.
Oh, so you see it. Okay, cool. You got the chat pulled up. So Big Cat 8's a friend of mine. He actually used to attend the CCW Academy with me. You froze, by the way. I don't know if it'll work. Okay, good. You're good now.
I just had to get the chat gimmick.
Okay, cool. Yeah, I'll let you know if there's any problems. There's an echo. Okay. Is that on my end or your end? Probably on his end.
My end? What do I need to do?
I don't know. They're letting us know tech-wise what's been going on. Everybody gangsta till Vince McMahon joins the chat. All right, cool. I think that was someone else. We're good. There's no echoes. There's a pop out for chat, by the way, just so he doesn't have the full stream up, so his laptop doesn't freeze frame. Oh, that's Cheesy Place. So yeah, are you trying to look at the chat on the same window?
Oh, I see what's going on. How much behind is the Twitch gimmick?
It's not. The Twitch gimmick, if you watch the stream, it's a little bit behind on the stream, but the chat is actually live. That's as I talk.
Oh. I know. I'm trying to. I bet is this a bunch of young kids who use Twitch all the time? They probably think I'm a dumbass, but I can't figure this out.
It's people of all ages who think you're a dumbass on this Twitch gimmick. It's not just young kids. But no, they don't care. They don't care. Yeah, I don't know. The easiest way is for the phone, but if you want, there's a pop-up thing on the Twitch channel. If you want to hit that and then shut the rest of it out. Okay. Cool.
So what are you doing? What are you playing?
What am I playing? Oh, games?
Isn't that what this is? Isn't this a video game?
So that's what I thought. I thought it was only video games, but apparently people do chatting and they also do art and music.
Someone just said, Ariya, you're really 40. Hey, 40? 31.
I think I wished you a happy birthday and said you were 40.
I was 58.
Oh.
Twitch is more than video game streams. Thank you, Armandus Amazing.
It's Armand. It's my boy.
Armand?
He's in the chat all the time. Shout out to Armand.
Yeah, sure.
Redeemed a shout out. El Tigre. Drew.
Ember Moon cooks on her channel. That's pretty cool. Cooking thing. What can I do on Twitch?
I don't know. You could probably like be angry. Talk about stuff that makes you mad. What really grinds my gears?
Everything. Not wrestling. For
Yeah, right. Especially wrestling.
ass. Oh yeah, what's your favorite hold? My favorite hold.
Yeah, tell us, please. What's your favorite hold, Ariya?
Let me think of the 1-3 holds I know.
I wonder if it's the same as my favorite hold.
You have a bajillion. I would never guess what
No,
yours is.
yeah, but I wonder if yours is the same as mine.
Gotta go with the Cobra Clutch.
Oh, okay.
The one I was used.
You heard it here first, folks, on Gaming with Gulak. Ariya Daivari enjoys the Cobra Clutch. Mine's actually a headlock.
Oh yeah, Headlock
Yeah.
Squeezes.
Oh, yeah. Yep, lots of those. Yep. Paige watches YouTube on her channel. Yeah, that's fair. That's real fair. She's got like
Yeah, it helps when you're super hot. I get that. What's the name of Samoa Joe's hold? The Coquina Clutch.
that's right.
What would Joey Styles always call the transmission? It was something weird.
Yeah.
Katahajime.
Katahajime.
Was that real? Or did he make that up?
I think it's a real name. I don't know if it's the exact same hold though that they would call it. I think he just would yell that. I think it is. A Katahajime is that a variation of that. I think it's a generalization for a bunch of different holds. Like Jujigatame is armbar, but like that could be like a couple ways to apply the armbar. Like people say, what do they say, Americana for like
Yeah.
this one, but that can also be V1 or there's a bunch of names. It doesn't matter. They're all stupid names. Kata Hajime. Lindsay Dorado was streaming earlier, FYI.
Is Sean Daivari really my brother? Yes, he is.
Wow. I never knew that. That's crazy.
Hey, Ariya, how's your 2020 so far? Dude, it sucks like everyone else's. Awful. Worst year of my life so far.
Why has this been worse for you? Besides, like, the world being in chaos.
For me?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, everyone dying is the worst part about this, but I can't do any of the things I like to do, which isn't a lot. I like to go to the gym. I like to wrestle. I like to go to bars and get drunk with my friends, and I can't do any of that.
Nope. Can't do any of that. It does suck. But that's why we have Twitch.
That's very true.
And Zoom.
That's very true. I wonder if the Daivari brothers are going to be tag team champions. Not anytime soon, because he just got fired.
Damn, the questions are flying today.
How many cutters does it take to get to the center of an indie wrestler? That's pretty funny.
3. A 1. Ka-2.
Do you guys have home gyms? I do. So, like, right before this was about to start, I had a little bit of foresight, and I was like, about 2 weeks before they closed the gyms down, I was like, I feel like they're going to close the gyms down. Or my hypochondria ass is going to get too scared and not go anyway. So
Uh-huh.
I went and bought a bunch of dumbbells, a bench. My girl's got a barbell and a bunch of weights and stuff like that. So I got enough for what I need. But I like I like leaving my house. Going to the gym is like a thing I do in the day, and it like gets me in the right zone. I've been having like real shitty workouts because I'm just like I get out of bed and sit on the couch and then go from the couch to the gym and then back to the couch. So like it's not like real.
It's like going to work.
Yeah.
You know, like even Liz, when she works from home here, we set up an office in a separate room just so she's not in our living room.
Yeah.
And so it's kind of like she has to, you know, get up and get ready and then go to her desk, you know.
Right.
So even that's a little better. Yeah. I have my roof and a bar. I got screwed out of the equipment thing.
They closed your apartment gym.
Yeah, they shut that down. It was a nice one too.
I wonder with an apartment like that. I wonder if they could do like a sign up sheet and do like 3 people in at a time. Like,
I don't think they're not even like thinking about that kind of stuff, especially with the gym. I'm usually the only one in there.
well, shit. I would definitely go to the front desk lady and be like, "I will give you $100 if you open this gym just for me."
She would tell me no. I've had that before here. There's like a whole parking thing too, where like the garage only has we're only allowed to have like one car per household in the garage. The other ones have to get on
Yeah,
a waiting list and pay a bunch of money. Literally half the spaces in that garage are open.
yeah. And she would give it to you.
No, no. Try to sell me on it like $100 extra a month on top of my rent. So I'm like, to park, I could just park on the street for free.
Yeah,
It's just an added layer of protection for my property.
right.
So, but I mean, our stuff's not in danger here. We got some highlighted messages I'm supposed to read. They use their Gulak bucks in the chat room on this.
Okay.
uh,
What are they?
NI40 says, Drew Gulak, hey, is TJP still around in 205 Live or he left? Well, I've got some news for you. TJP left WWE a little over a year ago. So now he wrestles primarily for Impact Wrestling and wherever else I think his heart desires when we're able to.
I think he's done some New Japan stuff since like the ones that came to America.
There you go. Yeah, so I know he was a part of the California dojo, but he is still alive and well. And I mean, if you haven't seen him in a while, feel free to follow him on social media and give him a shout. He would appreciate it, I'm sure. Let's see.
Still doing crazy ass workouts on his Indo board.
with boxing the ball with
Yeah.
the head. Yeah.
Loves that shit.
I wonder if he could stand on his hands and do it.
Dude, doing crazy stuff.
Let's see. Just Kelsey 15. Hey Daivari, just want to say keep on slaying that fabulous style of yours.
Ooh, I do got great style. Except I'm wearing a red T-shirt right now. It's the Academy School of Pro Wrestling. So if there's anybody in Minnesota on this Twitch stream who wants to get trained to be a wrestler, go to the Academy
Where is that in Minnesota?
in Brooklyn Park, and it's ran by Ken Anderson, Mr. Kennedy.
Mister.
I'll say so. Last night I was watching some older SmackDowns, like 2006, 2007, and like at the time you're like, oh wow, he's a good promo, but like there was a lot of good promos. But like looking back on it now, and like compared to the guy like that was on TV today, he's an amazing promo. I forgot how funny he was. Just the way he talked is hilarious.
Yeah, he stood out and fit in like immediately. That's what I remember about him. I saw him and I was like, okay, yeah, he's gonna be in the title picture in no time.
Yeah,
You know.
yeah, he was really good.
Yep. Yeah, so that's cool.
Yeah, so if you want to get trained by Mr. Kennedy, who's great promo, teach you how to chat while you also wrestle.
Jasperino, how do y'all feel about Noam turning into a effing caveman during the quarantine?
He looks great, sexy.
I think he finally got on that testosterone and the hairs just started shooting out. Once he turned 20, man.
He's hairy. He's a hairy. I roomed with him many of time. He's a hairy guy.
Yeah, for a 14-year-old, he's super hairy.
Very hairy.
Highlighted message from Aiden World. Hey Drew and Ariya, what's your guys' favorite movie in wrestling? Mine is MVP's. Oh, favorite move in wrestling. Mine is MVP's Playmaker. I thought it was a movie. I thought MVP was in a movie called Playmaker.
Yeah, I was like,
Which would have been perfect. Which is a much better question. My favorite movie in wrestling, I think.
No holds barred, right?
I think it has to be No Holds Barred by far. Yeah, it's the most ridiculous one. I don't know. Does They Live count? Does that
Ready to Rumble gets a lot, isn't that? That's just Roddy Piper's movie, right?
I mean, it is Roddy Piper. It's a what's his name? John Carpenter film starring Roddy Piper for some reason, and he's amazing.
I wouldn't say it's a wrestling.
No, so if that doesn't count, then dude, Ready to Rumble is a great one. Good pick.
Ready to Rumble, yeah, definitely.
I'll always remember the line from Ready to Rumble when the septic truck flips over and he goes, "It smells like French toast."
Yeah.
Like what? Where does that come from? All right. Let's see. WK Leon with a highlighted message says, "What would be the next best wrestling school now that Lance Storm shut down shop?"
The academy in Minnesota.
Heads
Well,
up.
it depends where you live.
It
I feel
depends where
like
you
you can
live.
like within a couple states. I feel like there's a reputable trainer everywhere. There's at least a former WWE person doing a training school, or someone who's has a great
You're
reputation
saying
on the
every
independent
single
scene.
state has one?
I think within a couple states, you can either get
Within a
trained by
couple.
a former WWE guy,
Yeah.
or at least someone who's been doing it a long time, like the Wrestle Factory or something that's like reputable.
Yeah,
You
I'd
know?
say there's probably like somewhere in between 10 and 20
Yeah,
schools
but I'm
that are
saying
like
every
decent.
area you live in, if you're in the West Coast, East Coast, like you should be able to find a reputable school
Yeah.
with like someone with some sort
It's
of name recognition.
I feel like it's pretty barren out in like out in the west, but not as far as California, like
Yeah,
maybe
that's right.
Above Texas, like straight up
You're
through the
right. You're right.
heartland.
Yeah,
Like I feel like it's pretty barren there.
yeah. All I can think about St. Louis probably. I think Elgin used to have a school. I don't know if he still
I have
does,
no
but
idea. No
uh,
idea.
yeah. But it's worth it. It's worth going out of your way. If there's not a good reputable school in your state, I think it's worth packing up and moving and getting trained somewhere good.
Yeah, definitely. We had people from all over the world come
Yeah,
just to
there's
our
kids from
place.
all over at the academy. Yeah,
And people would come and live. They would get a house together and buy like a house
right.
in the city, or like a rent a house together in the city.
That's good times too. Some of the funnest times of your life. Miss those days.
What was it like for you?
So my training was actually the training facility was really nice, and it was a guy. He actually trained my brother, but he was kind of like a just jabroni guy who was around here. So he basically just taught me like how to lock up, run the ropes, and like a little bit of chain wrestling, and like that was it.
So just the
But luckily,
bare
yeah,
bones how to
bare
get into a
bones.
ring. Yeah.
And then just being a mark, I like there's a lot of moves that like I already knew how to do a suplex. You just had to be like, oh, you're just on the wrong side. Like, oh, okay. So there's a lot of stuff I already just knew just from watching wrestling. But then this is in 2006. So my brother Ken and Shelton Benjamin all lived in Minneapolis at the time. So they would come through every once in a while, and I would just roll around with them, wrestle with them. And then one day I showed up for training, and the doors were locked, and the ring was gone,
Oh,
and I don't know what happened, and the whole place is gone. So I
what?
trained for like I trained for like 5 6 months, and then I just started doing shows, and
That
that
was your
was about
training?
it.
Damn.
And that was about it. And then anytime like seminars popped up, I went to them and all that kind of stuff. But yeah,
That's crazy. So you had like an introductory course and then like nothing.
yeah. Why do you think I know like 10 moves? Yeah, I never had anyone else to show me. I would literally like I'd say Eric Cannon taught me a lot of stuff that we would just go over it
Yeah, of
before the
course.
match, and then we'd go in there and we'd do it. And yeah, that was kind of it. So he was very
Yeah.
instrumental in teaching me a lot of new moves and stuff like that.
Yeah, that's way different than what I had. I had 4 nights a week and then shows on the weekend, like
Yeah.
until I got signed.
Well, that's why you
You
are
know,
the way that you are. You know more moves than damn near
it's
everybody.
just different. It's just different. Um, yeah, that's great. Did you ever find out why that school closed?
I don't know. I assume. I don't think it was like so. It was called MPW, and it was a school. This guy, like, he kind of ran it, but Cannon used to like train a bunch of people. Like,
Yeah,
I'd say about 20 guys who were wrestling on the scene at the time were all Cannon students. I don't know what kind of falling out they have, but then it switched buildings to that building. I went to that for a little bit, and then he just closed up shop, and that was it until the academy popped up. So there was no training schools in Minnesota for like 10 years or so. So I used to always go to show like there's no ring to go to. If I
yeah,
just wanted to go to a ring on a random day, I couldn't do that. So I used to always go to shows like 2 hours early and just like get in the ring with someone and just wrestle around. So I
that's
still feel
smart.
like I was in a ring, like kind of just like how we do at TV.
Yeah,
We just get in the ring. And we're like, I just did that at every show for like 6 7 years, just because I was like, I need more ring time.
I'll tell
Yeah,
you,
just
like
do them.
when I was visiting indies, like the last 3 years, like any show I'd go to, it was rare to find people in the ring practicing. Like maybe guys were going over their matches, but like I wouldn't find
Yeah,
anybody like, hey, let's train a little bit. I don't see.
yeah.
I never saw that. I don't know why. I don't know why that's like a people are afraid to like get in and mess around or
But you know what? The other thing, this was kind of always my philosophy. Like I learned and was trained like those basic things that need to look good, like how to grab a good hold, how to grab good headlocks, how to run the ropes properly, how to lock up right, how to throw like good punches. Like I did just learn the basics, and that was it. Everything else is like I said, I was just like, oh, you want to just try it in this match? Like sure, like that stuff's all easy. Like that's why there's so many like holes in people's games as far as like throwing shitty punches and like bad lockups and stuff like that, or terrible selling because they never really they skipped over the basics and it's easy and they went straight to springboarding and stuff like that.
All the time. All the
Yeah.
time. Teach me a Canadian Destroyer or how to hit someone with a chair. I've heard that so many times, like
Yeah.
on the first day. I'm like,
I've also
wipe your
always
feet.
been right, yeah. I've also always been like laser focused on WWE. Like when I got like I became an indie wrestler because I just thought that's what I had to do to get to the W. Like I didn't know what Ring of Honor. Actually, one of the first indie shows I went to. This is what I already started training at this point, but I just went to like a random indie show, and the promoter booked a bunch of like Ring of Honor guys. Like Delirious was on the show, BJ Whitmer was on the show, and then like I think Jigsaw was on the show. Quack might have been on the show.
Oh,
It was
yeah.
just like a hodgepodge of guys and Minnesota guys. I remember being like blown away, and I was like, "Damn! Like the Minnesota scene's like amazing." And then Canada's like, "No, like none of those guys live here." And I was like, that's too bad." So I was very, I knew nothing about like indie wrestling. And,
Is that Louis?
yeah.
Louis. He's so big now. Louis. Hello, Louis. Hey, buddy.
Anyway, back to my face. So yeah, I knew nothing about like indie wrestling. All I wanted to do is go to WWE. So that's why like my training was just like by like some WWE guys, and they told me like this is what you have to do to. This is what the WWE likes, so just get really good at that. That's all I did for like 10 years, and then I got a job. Like I did like Ring of Honor and other stuff like towards the like the last couple of years, probably when I finally started getting good enough to get booked in those places, but it still wasn't like really a goal. Like all I kept thinking was like, oh, now that I did Ring of Honor, maybe WWE will think I'm like better, you know.
Did somebody
That type of
push you
stuff.
to those shows?
What shows?
Like, hey, you should go work ROH.
Not myself. I was just I literally just thought I was like I should if I worked there because like NXT was starting to pick up. So I said, okay, now they're finally starting to like acknowledge good independent wrestlers. If I go do some Ring of Honor shows, and they're like, oh, he's good enough to get booked to Ring of Honor.
Right.
He must be halfway decent. So
Yeah.
that was kind of always my thought process.
So that's like guys like CM Punk, like coming in and finally breaking through that little
Totally. Yeah.
stigma. Yeah, it was crazy. All right, the Wrestling Archive asked the weirdest incident that ever happened to you at an independent show. At an independent show, the weirdest? I feel like every independent show was a weird incident. What was the weirdest that ever happened? I mean, one time a guy died at a show I was on.
Ooh,
That was
what
pretty
show?
weird. That was Louis. That was one of the CZW Tournament of Deaths where Nick Gage cut his arm, and he had to get had to get helicopter lifted out of the ring. That was pretty weird.
I got this isn't. I mean, it's weird, but it's also kind
survived.
of it's kind of hilarious because like the order of events it happened in was pretty funny. So there's this promoter who ran this like random spot show in Minnesota, and it did horribly. And he clearly spent like way too like everybody on the show got like crazy paydays to the point. And I was like, oh man, this guy's gonna totally lose his ass. And nobody showed up. And I kid you not, he like opened the curtain like when the bell rang and like looked at the crowd and realized there was nobody there. He shut the curtain and like clutched his chest and like had a heart attack.
No.
like fell over. It was like I can't breathe. And we're like, damn, the house that shitty, huh? Like,
Gave him a heart attack.
He ended up leaving, and then like I don't know, he ended up being okay and stuff. But I don't think maybe he just had like an anxiety attack. But like he just forever, I was kind of laughed about. He like looked at the house and was like, ugh, and just like kind of fell over and died.
That's not right. I can't. I should be laughing at that. That's like a movie, right? Like he turns around and goes, ugh.
But it's how many times have you done a show where you've like looked at the crowd, you're like, ugh, it's like there's nobody out there. Like this sucks. Like this guy clearly just lost so much money and it's like killed him.
That's funny. Let's see. I think. Oh, Beyond Wrestling's in the chat. I sent him an invite to come in here. I don't know if he got it yet. Let me double check real quick on this thing. All right, we are live.
Is that the promoter of Beyond Wrestling?
Yes, that is Mr. Denver, Colorado, and he is amazing at dealing with fans and doing Q&As and stuff. And these things move much better when he's with us. So let me shoot him an invite real quick.
He'll be like in the Zoom chat.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll be in the Zoom chat. Yeah, I'm gonna email that right over to you.
Here's some of these questions. Are you fasting, Daivari? No, I'm not. I don't practice any religion, so I forget what that's called. Not a religious guy, not Muslim.
It has been sent. Yeah, usually when I hear those questions, like if you're fasting and stuff, it's people who are just curious more than anything.
Yeah.
It's not the guy who's like, "You're a bad Muslim," you know.
Yeah. Well, no, I get tagged in a lot of things, like with Ali. Like a lot of people assume we're both Muslims, we're both Middle Eastern and stuff like that. So because he's much more open about that stuff, a lot of people think I am too. But I've never really practiced any religions. It wasn't a thing in our life or in our household growing up.
Yo, can you hear me?
Yes, but I gotta change my audio.
Ariya, do you know Mr. Denver, Colorado?
I don't think we've ever had the pleasure of meeting.
No, well, he just kicked some ass in a poker tournament. You'll be happy to
know.
Yeah. Yeah, so what kind of stuff do you get? You still get stuff on the regular sent to you? Like hate mail and stuff like that?
Who, me?
Yeah, you.
Like a couple times a month, maybe.
I get like a rare one occasionally for like Jewish stuff. It's usually from like people who claim they're from Palestine and they think that I have to do with the war going on there. So that's always fun to be reminded of that going on.
All right, let's see how I can set this up.
Oh, hello.
What's up, guys? How are you?
Yo.
We're doing good. We are Gabbin with Gulak on a Saturday night. And
I like that.
Chat is flying. Chat is flying off the rails.
Heck yeah.
Like Chaotix with a 1 in there says, have any of you watched XPW? If so, what did you think of it?
Like the gimmick that started right after ECW?
XPW. Yeah, so XPW is like the West Coast CZW.
I think we had all those
much scummier
videotapes, yeah. But like a lot of the ECW guys worked it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so they would get as many like the big ECW names, whereas CZW would try to make like their own guys and bring them up. Right. Yeah, they were like our rival promotion in the early 2000s, and yeah, it was pretty crazy actually. The owner of that company was into some real bad stuff, like real illegal stuff, and they wound up getting shut down. But there was a whole thing where like they came over from LA and bought the exclusive rights to use the ECW arena while CZW was in there. So CZW got kicked out and we got moved to this really crappy like venue in Southwest Philly that like had overflowing plumbing and stuff like that, like for like 2 or 3 shows. Big Cat 8 is actually going to post the link. Yeah, 61st and Passyunk. Tatanka was on one of the shows at that time. I don't know. It was just it was bizarre.
Very, very extreme wrestler, Tatanka.
Yeah. Hell yeah. I've been asked, speaking of Drew, I am Jewish. Do I follow any of the dietary restrictions? No, not really. I don't follow any of the dietary restrictions. I haven't done that since I was maybe 16, keeping kosher and stuff like that. I like all food too much to really restrict my diets at the moment.
I only kind of learned about that recently. I didn't realize that meat and cheese couldn't be mixed.
Nope.
Oh, I didn't know that either.
Nope. You can't have because the dairy comes from the animal, so then you can't put it together like that on the same plate is the rule. And there's actually, when you go into a kosher restaurant, there are sections of the restaurant sometimes shut down where they'll have like, if you're eating meat and cheese, you go over here, and if you're not, it's like on this side of the restaurant. Yeah.
Are there sometimes food can be blessed though, and it becomes kosher?
So if you
or only certain types of food still
stuff like if you kill an animal, you have to do it humanely, and you have to do it without causing it suffering, and then you bless whatever the food is, and that's how it becomes kosher. Same with like wine.
So I'm in the process. We're doing Uncharted territory at 11 o'clock every night. We're going head to head with the Twitch Gulak stream, but thankfully I have a setup that allows me
every night.
To, every night for the month. Well, we taped 31 episodes last year.
When
and we
did
have
you decide on
31
11 o'clock?
31 days in the month of May. So we're making a big push to try and expand our audience on the Pacific Coast. So it's 11 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Pacific. So we're going to show a 2-hour episode of Uncharted territory every night in May with a lead-in to Defy Wrestling. Did either of you guys ever work with Defy, or did that pop up after you guys got signed?
Yeah, I feel like that was after, or maybe it was right around, wasn't it? Like 2016, 15.
Yeah, I know Strickland Swerve was the big import they had there, and kind of used that to build up his platform. So that was right after I left.
But I mean, come on, guys! It's 2020. I have a TV. I've got a computer. I've got my phone. I can run, 2 hashtag live chats. I can do a question and answer for you guys. I can watch we're good to go. I'll tell you what. I just found these today. These Eric Cannon was posting these PBR hard peach teas. I drove.
I saw that.
I drove 45 minutes. Don't tell the governor, but
Did
I practice social distancing.
Okay, good.
But yeah, I'm here to field questions. So bring them on. Bring them on, Gulak chat.
Yeah, they're doing good today. There's been a lot of activity today. It's been steadily increasing. So hopefully Uncharted territory doesn't derail my momentum that I've been. Actually,
I'm looking. Do both.
I'm looking to switch to primetime. You know how like shows will do well like late night, like Adult Swim, and then they'll get moved to like 8 o'clock on Fox. Like I want to make that transition at some point. So we'll see.
I have a question for myself. Somebody wants to know how to get involved with the music for Beyond Wrestling. Send an email to beyondwrestling@gmail.com. I'll forward that to the powers that be at Independent Wrestling TV. I know that's something that's been talked about a lot too, is trying to get everything switched over to music that we have 100% exclusivity to, as opposed to having to cut the music out of our shows. So
cool. Speaking of that, I have another announcer/commentator that I want to throw your way, who is looking to keep busy. If you have anything that needs to be dubbed over.
Okay. Hey, look at this great question. If I could steal either Drew or Ariya from WWE, who would I take? Why do I have to play favorites? I just got in the chat. You know what? I'll take Mr. Daivari because I never worked with him before. I only worked with Drew. I already know what I'm going to get. So I like building new relationships, networking, and cultivating.
Ah, thank you. So nice of you.
I think it would be fun. I love working with Drew. That's old hat. So it's not the Explorer's hat. What's the hat that you put the hat and the bandana on? The adventure hat, excuse me.
So Ariya, on Wednesdays I play this game called Uncharted 4. Have you heard of it?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like Tomb Raider with a dude. It's kind of like Indiana Jones. And because it's like my adventure night, on Wednesdays I put on like a cowboy hat and a bandana.
You love wearing cowboy hats. It's like your secret.
Dude, I look good in that cowboy hat. I kept that thing. I look real good in it.
Every time we go to those gas stations, you always got to put those cowboy hats on.
Yeah. When in Texas.
Yeah.
That's what they say, right? When in Texas.
All right. Anybody try the PBR hard coffee? I bought a 4-pack of that today. I've actually tried a different brand of hard coffee that's actually pretty good. Do you guys? I might have missed this before we got in the chat. Do you guys? I don't know if you guys partake in libations.
No, we actually touched on it earlier, but yeah, we do.
So, do you guys strictly beer, strictly liquor? Do you like trying all the goofy drinks they come out with nowadays?
I just drink a lot of whiskey. That's about it.
I don't drink too much, but when I do,
I've seen Drew turn up a few times.
But
it's been pretty
Nichols.
wild. Yeah.
Right, that was the place in Philly, Nichols.
That's where I would go, Nichols. Yeah. But Nichols I only went a couple times, really. But that was the after party CCW spot. Downey's on South Street was the joint where like Chuck E. T.
That's what I'm thinking of. That's what I'm thinking of.
And Bryce Remsburg and all of us would go out there, and like we'd have huge numbers that would just take over that place.
Where did we go? We just met Chuck recently. It was like a bar right by his place or something.
That was the Firehouse. That's next door to his old place. Yeah.
That's right.
Do you guys think that tag team wrestling is floundering? If so, why? And how would you revitalize it?
Whoa, what a question.
It's a lot.
It just needs to be taken seriously. Like I realized when I go back and watch like Attitude Era stuff, I feel like Dudley's, Edge and Christian, Jeff Hardy, Matt Hardy, that little like triage. Like that's when tag team wrestling seemed like it was like most important.
And that's really three teams. That's 3 teams. You know.
But it's really they're just top. They're like the top mid card acts. Like there was all the main event guys like Austin and Rock and everyone, and the guys below them seemed to be like legitimate tag teams. So they seemed like huge stars. When now it seems like the tag team titles and tag teams are sometimes seen as like less than or whatever. It's like, just get a tag match on there. Some of the best matches are tag matches. It should be highlighted just as much as like world titles.
So Quack always said this. I always thought it was cool, but he because like Chikara does a ton of tag team wrestling, and like his thing was like, if you picture the ring as a canvas, as an artist canvas, and a wrestler as a color, think of how much more you could do than if you just had black and white. But then you throw in blue and yellow and orange and red, and like that's how he would describe it. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Also, why all the costumes in Chikara are very colorful. Yeah, I get it. But no,
there's so much more exciting stuff you can do.
I do feel like the psychology of a tag match changes the entire dynamic of a match completely.
Yeah,
and I feel like that's been thrown away immensely in the last like 10 years for the most part.
In the last 10 years, it's turned into a lot of there's just 4 of us, so now we can just do more stuff rather than doing like tag team wrestling. And
right.
That's why teams like the Revival and Young Bucks, like when they do their tag team stuff, it's really good.
Does CCW have the best cookies? Asked by the Human Tornado. I don't know if it's the Human Tornado.
It is the Human Tornado. That's him.
Oh, it's the Human Tornado.
Yeah, it's my ex-tag team partner, Human Tornado. Yes, CCW did have the best.
Where did you team with him?
CCW Fear in Frightland. We wrestled at a Halloween theme park. It wasn't a theme park. A Halloween like haunted park in Delaware. It had a giant skull that you would see from the highway. It was really cool. You could like walk through it. And what was the match? It was me and Human Tornado versus Ruckus and Sabian in a tables, chairs, and chaos match is how Zandig put it to us. And I think all of us got concussed in that match real bad. I definitely did. I got DDT'd onto a ladder, and like my vision was blurry all the way home. I remember Sabian, aka Black G's, set a table up on the grass, put me on it, and then climbed up onto the ring truck next to it, jumped off the thing, and like because it's on grass, the table just went like into the grass a little bit, and then it tipped over. And you just see he just eats it real bad. But it was on Botchamania, like one of the early Botchamanias where the table wouldn't break, and he just impales himself on the side of it. So then he's having like a crazy like panic attack in the back. Ruckus, right before the table spot, grabs me, goes, "Yo, I'm gonna flip on you." And I go, "Okay." And he just runs and like does a wall climb like up the ring truck. He like runs up the wall and like goes to backflip into me, and he just winds up headbutting me like directly head to head. Boom. like skull to skull. Yeah, what a shit show that match was. What's up, Human Tornado? Remember that? He says yes.
Next question. When is Orange Cassidy coming to WWE? I have it on good authority that Orange Cassidy actually signed the most lucrative contract in AEW history. So.
Oh, the most lucrative.
A good authority.
Okay.
Probably the most lucrative for the least amount of work. That's for sure.
Has anybody ever come to a show drunk? There were actually a couple times, I don't wrestle, but at Uncharted territory this past season where I actually had to leave and get a couple drinks in me because I was just not ready to face the day.
It's encouraged
we had
now.
So many issues
Have a couple
together the past season. But there was this great barbecue place right across the street, and if you went at 6 o'clock and sat at the bar every Thursday night, they'd give you complimentary candied bacon in this little pail. So, I had to have a couple drinks.
That's awesome.
How about you guys? Did you guys ever wrestle drunk?
I've never wrestled drunk. I think I've wrestled hungover once or twice.
Oh yeah. I've wrestled slightly buzzed only a few times. The one time I did it, I got like super blown up really fast. I was like, okay, I can't.
It's not a
do
good.
that.
It's not a good time. No.
It's not performance enhancing at all.
It just thins out your blood so you can bleed to death.
Yeah.
So that's a real thing. So when I did that barbed wire match with Danny Havoc, like it was customary to have a beer before your match,
right?
Because it would help you bleed more.
I've only gigged a couple times, and one was with Cannon.
Did he? I'm sure he told you about that. Yeah.
Yeah. We took a few aspirin, had a few cocktails, and we're like, all right, let's get out there.
Is Tony Nese joining in the chat?
Tony Nese declined today. Said he had family activities, but he will come in next week. Is what he said.
Oh shit!
That's what he said. I saw pictures to prove it. So.
Yes, I am a girl. I watch the Twitch. I don't know if that's actually a username.
Yeah.
Wants to know what are the stupidest things people have said to you online.
Just scroll through my Twitter feed. It's nonstop.
Yeah, right? I mean, the dumbest thing that someone said to me on the internet, it's anything. And I mean, just people can say whatever they want, so just you name it. I mean, I get a lot of dudes hitting me up in the DMs. That happens all the time. Like, that ain't happening. I don't know. I don't know. I think that's gonna work.
Okay. Sometimes that happens.
But not with me.
It's too bad, though. Just because people can't say anything doesn't mean that they should.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. The conundrum of freedom of speech.
Somebody asks, when will Daivari get a Simpsons memes gimmick?
Simpsons
that's a reference that goes over my head, so.
I just post I repost a lot of Simpsons bullshit because it's my favorite show.
We got to get you a guest starring appearance now that we're on Fox. That's got to happen. That's got to happen.
I tweeted at Fox trying to get them to do
it. Yeah, like the social media guys. I'll make that happen. The guy running the Twitter.
It's my only connection so far.
That's got the others.
DCC0209 says, what's the worst thing somebody has said to you at a live show? Very negative chat tonight, Drew. I thought you were pumping me up, man. I was getting real excited.
It was great until you came in here.
I just bring the negativity with me.
What's the weirdest thing someone said to me at a show? Like a fan, I guess, yelling at me? Like that kind of thing?
Yeah.
I don't know, man.
Heckling.
The weirdest heckle? The worst thing someone said to me at a live show. That's what that says. Not the weirdest. That says the worst thing.
So,
I get a lot of racist Middle Eastern stuff thrown at me.
Same. I've gotten that too.
Basis,
How about like fun mean things?
What's the funniest thing like someone said to me at a show? Like a fan?
Yeah, like, trying to heckle you. Like,
I can't remember. They're like people love talking shit.
Whenever we were in Las Vegas, it was like October. We did 205 in Vegas.
Yeah.
And, during my match, like a good chunk of the crowd started chanting "Mini Drake" because I like just shaved my head and my beard was super thick, so I was hearing "Mini Drake" chanted at me throughout my match.
Oh, the baby. What about when you were wrestling and you ended up swinging?
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, there was that.
Baby.
Oh, you like that?
Yeah, my match.
Yeah, you cradled him like. How do you call that? Hey, I'm gonna cradle you like a baby and then slam you. How do you even call that?
To a gentleman that speaks only Spanish, you don't call that.
He's a big guy.
So here I got a funny story about that. So I was in the ring when that was going on, and Adam Pierce said it in the headset. Said it to the referee. He said, "Pick up Metalik like a baby." And I'm not fucking doing that. And I went and tagged Drew, and then in my head I was like, they'll probably say it to Drew, and then seconds later Drew picks him up. I'm like, yeah, I Drew.
It's the heaviest man. It's the heaviest baby of all time.
So, that was one. I knew how heavy he was, and I was like, I'm not doing anything.
You were
else
coming back off an injury too, right?
Yeah, I was like,
that's your neck injury.
Yeah. So I was like, At that point, I just wanted the match to be over.
The crowd was bad. That was a bad. But I mean, that was a situation we were put in constantly. You know, like we were never. That should have never happened. Like when you think about it, that shouldn't have happened. That wasn't the right spot to book that. Like if you have a bunch of people who know how to run a show, you don't put that match there. But that's what we had. We just dealt with it.
All right, question for you. How was the transition from wrestling? How was the transition to wrestling into street clothes? Do you prefer street clothes or traditional wrestling gear?
I like traditional wrestling gear, but I just wanted to try something different because I noticed on like Raw and SmackDown there were a handful of guys in street clothes like Dean Ambrose, Braun, and Bray, but on 205 everyone had really fancy gear. Like everyone has good gear on 205. I feel like. So I thought I can be the one guy on that show to stand out, look a little different, be a little bit more of like a brawler is what I wanted to do. And I don't know, I don't want to wear trunks anymore. I don't want to shave my legs anymore. So I found these really stretchy jeans.
I remember you saying that.
Yeah, when I was like, when I go back to the independent scene, I might do it again because that'd be fun just to do a lot more like brawling and stuff. Because that's all I really did when I was an indie wrestler.
Do you guys know why there was only one Cruiserweight Classic tournament?
There was talks of doing a second one.
Yeah.
And then they did that like title tournament before Wrestlemania the first 2 years of 205 Live. Yeah. So that kind of like, they were like, we don't need to do another one. We just did that. And then the second year, they also had the Mae Young Classic starting. So they didn't want to.
And the other thing, too, the special thing about the CWC, I think there's only like 2 actual WWE guys in it. The rest of us were all unsigned indie talent. I don't think, like, that's what was special about it. So I don't think they could do another tournament of 30 more guys. And because so many of them got signed, too. They used to do a tournament of another 30 guys, and the guys are not.
So I was actually asking the chat yesterday or the day before, like, to book their own Cruiserweight Classic, and they weren't allowed to use people that were in the first one. And they had a lot of good suggestions. So that's like something
it'd be great now. Now that it's been 4 years, like now there's a whole new crop of great independent wrestlers that would be great.
Damn, time flies, man.
That's good to know, at least on my end, that there's still a healthy scene, that there's a lot of wrestlers that fans, even if they mostly follow WWE, are familiar with outside of WWE that have some sort of popularity.
Yeah.
To each of you guys, what is the greatest moment that both of you have had in wrestling individually?
I'd have to say the day I got signed, because that was like a day I already did it. I did an NXT tryout and they said no. Did the CWC, I asked them, hey, is this going anywhere? And that's when they said, we might do a CWC next year, we might use you for that. So I was like, okay, it's just like a one-off deal. So like each time I was getting so close, but I was getting nothing concrete. So the day I actually did like pen to paper and signed my deal, it was kind of achieving a life dream that I kind of set out when I was like 12 years old. So that was probably, I think to this day, one of the bigger accomplishments.
I was told like the same stuff. Like, nothing yet.
Yeah.
Thanks. Maybe in the form of a Rhino opportunity is what they said when Rhino was doing that part-time NXT stuff.
That's right.
That's what they told me. Greatest moment in my wrestling career, it's tough. I still, like, for me, like, the best moment was wrestling Rory when he debuted in 2008. Because like that was at the ECW arena, and he was a big fan of CZW. He used to dress up like Nick Mondo, so Rory was Little Mondo, and all the fans knew who he was. So like I had a mystery opponent, and he comes to the ring dressed up in the full gimmick, and the crowd stood on their feet, applauded. They were into the whole thing, dude. So we did a little wrestling. He rolls out of the ring, grabs a chair. I stick my head out to go tell him to get back in. He throws the chair in my face in his first match. It was cool. That was really fun.
Now, wait a minute. Now, we know that both you guys used to go to the shows. Now, I asked what was the worst thing that somebody did to you. But you guys, especially in that CZW crowd, what's the worst thing that you ever said to another wrestler heckling from the crowd?
Oh, God. I wasn't bad at that. My brother was the bad one. Yeah, I wasn't a bad heckler.
I never screamed stuff.
Although one time,
What?
yeah, no, never screamed stuff. No, I remember one time, Ruckus, who we kind of knew beforehand, he got close to the ring. It was during Kwanzaa, and I leaned over in the middle of his match. He's like getting beat up on the guardrail. I go, "Hey, Ruckus." He goes, "Hey," and I go, "Happy Kwanzaa." And he just started dying laughing. I mean, there was that. Like that was, I think, the only moment I could remember that was trying to make someone laugh.
Drew, what was it like working with Matt Tremont?
Great. Bulldozer's awesome. Very underrated. Yeah, really underrated.
How open is WWE Creative to taking input and ideas about character development?
It depends, because it's, in my opinion, there's like tiers of like approval that stuff has to go through, and like talking to people, everybody's super collaborative, like when they're allowed to be, but then it's got to get approved to it at a certain point, and like sometimes what happens is that stuff gets stuck along the way, it gets caught in whatever bureaucracy there is, and then it just doesn't happen, and dudes just get sick and tired of trying and trying and trying. But that's the thing, is persistence is really the key with a lot of those things. And then the most successful route is just to be direct to the source, and just kind of talk. And like there's been situations where like you have to get something done, and like talking with your writer isn't getting anything done, so you wind up going like to a Triple H or to a Vince McMahon, and then they're like, yeah, absolutely, and then it happens.
Yeah, I had two situations. I like For me, it's like 50-50. I've had a handful of stuff that they went for where I like a blow-off match of some sort they've approved or whatever. But back to what you're saying about Vince, like when I wanted to switch to the Daivari De Niro character, I was bringing it up to my writer all the time and just nothing was happening. So I went directly to Vince McMahon and pitched it to him. And we were going from there. And then the other thing was the car I drove. I drove out a Mercedes at Money in the Bank.
Yeah.
Again, I brought it up to my writer. I was like, like Alberto Del Rio style, and it was kind of like that's like stuff we do for a main eventer, not like for a cruiserweight. And I was like, let me ask Vince. So I was like, I think he'll dig it because I know he likes that kind of stuff. And I said it to him, and he literally said, yeah, let me check if we can like logistically do it in that building, and if we can, sure. And then I got to the pay-per-view, and they had this brand new Mercedes. Hell yeah!
So sick.
Yeah.
There's got to be times too, especially when people pitch stuff, that it's at some point it's going to even get up to the ladder to go through like a legal department, right? To make sure that like certain things can be said on TV. Like if you come up with a name or a concept, or right?
Yeah, you can get in big trouble if you do that without trying to get the proper approval.
Enzo did that a lot. I feel like he would just kind of like say stuff like good promos and stuff, but they're like, hey, you can't say those kind of things.
Yeah.
Who does the best Hogan or Macho Man impersonation from 205?
Oh, I don't know. Good Hogan or Macho Man? Come on.
I feel like Oni does a good Warrior.
Oh, yeah, I was going to say, I guess Oni's probably both of them. I don't know if it's a good impression or if it's just more fun because it's him.
Let's see. Question for Drew. Oh, I'm sorry. If you guys could create any sort of gimmick match, it doesn't matter how crazy it is, what would it be?
Doesn't matter how crazy it is?
Yeah.
Guns are legal match?
That sounds like Doom Eternal. That doesn't sound like a wrestling match.
What about your no ropes match? Ain't that your specialty, your go-to?
But they said create a stipulation. That's what I'm
make
done.
one.
Yeah. So if I'm making, I don't know, maybe hang a gun from like a ladder.
I'd have to think about that. I wonder if I could think of
pull of acid, the Mortal Kombat match.
I thought wrestling was supposed to be about winning matches, not about the violence. The violence is the byproduct.
You can't ask me that question and before I go, doesn't matter how crazy it is. Like,
I would like to see a match wrestled inside of a hot air balloon.
Hell yeah!
Hot air? They'd be sweltering. They'd be burning up.
I never been in a hot air balloon, and I don't know what it's like to wrestle on it.
It's hot air. It's literally fire air that makes the thing
blowing down or up. It blows up. That's how it goes up, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you said inside of it. Are you saying being hung from it?
I don't. You know what? I didn't put enough thought into it. Not inside the balloon itself.
I thought inside
in the basket.
No, in the basket. Yeah.
Make that a ring. Make that a giant ring.
That would be sick.
Or inside of a tiny basket is what you were saying.
Yeah.
We've kind of looked into the logistics of having a wrestling ring on a parade float before. So the match starts, and then we kind of wrestle down the block. Let's see. I should probably screen these questions before I ask them, but I'm not. When you guys introduced for the Cruiser, let's see. When you guys did your introductions for the Cruiserweight Classic, where you entered the ring and pose, did you already know what poses you were going to do, or did you come up with your pose on the fly? This is a great question.
My pose was on the fly, legit. I just got in there and I was like, I just put my hands up and I don't know what the. And I'd have a pose, I was like, that's. That to me is like WWE guy stuff. Like indie wrestler, I used to just come out and bullshit and whatever, and I would hit whatever buckle and do whatever. I just do whatever I was feeling that day. I never had a specific pose that I was like, this is my WWE pose.
Same. Yeah. So when I got there, I was like, oh, they need a pose. Okay, I guess I'll do the catch point thing.
Did you? It was either a toss up or the Zandig one, right?
Not for me, no. Because that's John's thing. I don't want to step on his toes. I do that as a tribute occasionally, for fun.
Gotcha.
But I can't make that my thing. That would be wrong.
Gotcha. Let's see. Do you guys actually have to make weight to compete on 205?
Yeah.
Yep.
They've always been legit about that.
That's for real.
Any guys in MPLS scene poised to break out?
Soccer?
MPLS.
Minneapolis.
MPLS in Minneapolis, but I don't know what they're asking.
I was like, soccer?
The Minneapolis independent scene that you're keeping an eye on.
Oh yeah. I mean,
your boy Airwolf, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of kids on. A lot of them are. I say kids, they're not kids, but there's a lot. There's 20, 30 new kids on the scene who they all started wrestling after I got signed. So there's so many. They're all really good too. I wish I could wrestle with all of them. Yeah, I just keep up through their Instagrams and Twitters and stuff they're talking about. Kind of keeps me in the loop of what's going on with all independent wrestling. I follow independent wrestlers all over the country. I always keep an eye on. I was an independent wrestler a lot longer than I was a WWE wrestler.
Question for the chat: is Vince sleeping right now?
Vince doesn't sleep.
So, I mean, obviously, current events. Do you guys keep up at all on Dr. Fauci?
Do I keep up on him, or do I see him on the
news
every day?
Were you like, hey, I see this guy every day. What's his deal? And you looked into it.
I mean, I didn't look up his life story, but I know what he does.
I'm a Fauci fan. How old do you think he is?
I'm supposed to say younger because he looks older.
Well, how old do you think he looks?
60.
So he looks like he could be mid-70s.
Okay.
But I'm going to guess he's mid-60s or late 50s.
He's 79.
Okay.
So I thought that he was like late. I thought he was in his 60s, late 60s, early 70s.
Yeah.
79. He sleeps 4 hours a day. And prior to the pandemic, he would run 7 miles every single day. And now he just only runs 3.5 miles because that's all he has time for. And I was like, damn, this guy sounds like Vince McMahon.
Yeah.
So?
I believe it because I know Tony Nese can function on very little sleep. Very, very annoying.
What's the technique to that?
Just do it. Like Nike.
Yeah. Just do it and just don't complain and just hope you don't die?
I'm not built that way. I'm tired now.
I might go to bed. Do you guys feel like they should do more round robin cruiserweight tournaments like they're currently doing on a grander scale?
Maybe. I don't know. It depends on. I like them. I like them because you get to see more combinations of matchups, and like the stakes are always there. I don't know.
This is the G1, right? Is that what the G1 is?
What they're doing with the interim cruiserweight title?
I'm saying that's what the
G1's that, but with bigger brackets.
Right. Yeah, that'd be awesome. They should do it on the main roster for the world title too.
Right.
Seemed like it'd be a really good way to kill some time during a pandemic. What's everybody's favorite wrestling movie? Mine's Nacho Libre.
Oh, it is a movie.
Yeah, my brother.
Nacho Libre. Yeah,
Nacho Libre is a good one.
That's the best one. That's up.
The music is so good.
Everything in that is good. The acting is perfect. A Human Tornado is in that movie. Do you guys know that?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Mm-hmm. El Snowflake.
Ooh, this is a good one. Are there any storylines that you've been approached with that you've turned down?
I don't think so.
So, do you remember Ariya on 205 Live when they had me say women don't belong on 205 Live?
I don't remember that. No.
When Alicia Fox was there, this was a line they had written in and wanted me to say. And I told them, no way am I following through with this. Is this going to be a thing? It was just completely insensitive, over their head. They weren't even thinking, just dumb. Just so dumb.
Just trying to get some heat.
I just didn't want to insult my audience's intelligence more than we had to. You know?
Running the ropes.
Yeah.
Ever been Jedi mind tricked from Vince? That doesn't sound like a real question.
That's not even a thing.
Does Drew make his own PowerPoint presentations, or does somebody do that for you? That's an excellent question.
I make them myself.
It must be a very laborious process.
No, you just got to get good at it.
Yeah,
a lot of short keys.
Drew, do you enjoy a comedy role like the PowerPoint character, or more serious role like when you won the Cruiserweight title and probably made more money as champion?
I like all of it. I don't dislike playing a different, like a serious character versus like a humorous character. I like being able to switch between the two also.
I'll say this though, I was in the ring with you a lot towards the end of that. Like we were doing a lot of promos and stuff together. And I remember those last couple of weeks before you stopped doing the PowerPoint stuff, there was like a handful of signs in the crowd that said like Drew's PowerPoint. And I remember like there was some promo I remember looking in the crowd. I was like, damn, this shit's getting over.
Yeah, I remember that too.
And then a few weeks later it was done, and I was like,
a few weeks later something happened.
Yeah.
Yep. Bummer.
Thoughts on the most illegal move in wrestling history when the Osirian Portal wrestled? Ooh, it was Joe Gacy and Ryan Slater.
Is that that's the that's when he got hypnotized.
I was like on SportsCenter. I love anytime my regular friends, like my non-wrestling friends, will tweet or text me like a wrestling thing, like, "Man, did you see this?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
Yeah, same.
Is it better to ask for permission or forgiveness if you're, I guess, given material as a WWE wrestler?
It depends.
Yeah, you gotta play that by ear.
Yeah. There's definitely some things where I'm just like, I'm just gonna fucking do it, and I'll just deal with it later. But those are like minor things. I'm like, I can't get in too much trouble for this. Mm-hmm. There's definitely some things that I've been like, yeah, I'll just do what they tell me.
Somebody's asking me if Tom Lawler is still with us. We're actually not running wrestling shows right now. It's illegal to do so in my part of the country. So, but I would imagine we'll probably work with Tom when we get back up and running. Have either of you guys worked with Tom Lawler at all?
I don't think so. No.
Not the same timelines.
He was he like did the UFC fighting, right?
Yeah, but I think he trained at FCW, which obviously really? that was ahead of your guys' time. But I didn't know to what extent he might have also done indie stuff. He's a really funny guy. He's out of his mind. Let's see. I have an idea for a match stipulation. It's called Almost All Holds Are Barred. One move is selected at random, and it's the only illegal move, or it is the only legal move for the whole match. Wait, legal or illegal?
Legal.
Yeah.
Like, you can only do a wrist lock the whole match. You can only do a half crab.
That sounds right up your alley, Drew.
I would love that.
Sounds miserable.
Work the shit out of this wrist lock for 30 minutes. Yeah. That's all I can do.
Oh, try to go to headlock, can't do it.
Disqualified.
John Cena said that 205 Live is his favorite show. What is your favorite 205 Live match?
What? What does John Cena have to do with that?
He's adding credibility to the question.
Oh, since John Cena said it was his favorite show, my favorite 205.
Well, hold on. This person's username is Fan of Mojo Rawley, so they need to bring up Cena for the added credibility to get their question asked.
I understand completely. Favorite 205 Live match? I'm gonna say one that I wasn't in. I'm gonna say it's probably Jack and Gable the first time they wrestled. I think that was my favorite because I was rooting for Jack so hard and it was so good. It was so freaking good.
I'm trying to think. I was when I was managing Kenta or Hideo, him and Cedric had a match that I was like ringside for. That was a really good match. They beat the shit out of each other. Like, ooh. That was when they did the Falcon Arrow off the apron to the floor. That was amazing. Yeah.
Mr. Daivari, I'm being asked if you watched SmackDown 2 weeks ago and if you saw when Vince McMahon said "Goodnight, Padre" and did his little shuffle.
Did somebody ask that, or is that you asking that? Dude, all right. Last week, he couldn't shut up about this "Goodnight, Padre" thing, and I didn't even know what he was talking about because I wasn't near the ring when it happened.
I'm obsessed with it.
Did somebody ask that?
Yeah, somebody did ask that.
I watched it.
Kobe 24.
Of course.
I don't get what it was about though.
I thought it was some sort of this pop culture reference. "Goodnight, Padre." This classic line, just delivered. But I have no idea what it's a reference to. And Triple H is already dying, and it's just like, is Triple H Padre? Is this like a little in joke that they have between father-in-law and son-in-law? I don't know. I want to know what's going on behind closed doors. So do these people. That's why they're in the chat. That's why we're asking the hard-hitting questions.
I really like that in the Firefly Funhouse thing. They have the Vince puppet go like, "It's such good shit."
Yeah.
That popped me really big.
Favorite championship belt design?
I really like the CZW World title. Bab said that before on here. But out of the ones that we got, I dig the new Intercontinental title. I think it's really cool looking.
Yeah, you like that?
Mm-hmm.
The Winged Eagle WWF belt. The one that was right after it, the circle one, just because it's so iconic with my childhood. And the big gold belt, the WCW one. I always really liked that as the World Heavyweight Championship belt.
Yo, Drew, what was that? Or Denver? What was the big title that you were talking about last time?
Oh my God, it's like New South Wrestling.
All right, I gotta look this up again. What was it?
I think it's called New South Wrestling. I know that Cabana Man Dan, who's kind of a smaller wrestler as it is, was the champion. But I also think for scale that you may be familiar with, Sugar Dunkerton is also pictured with this title belt, and it basically takes up from below his groin to his chin. Can you do a share screen?
I mean, my whole screen is shared, but I can hold it up.
Yes,
like that.
It's the best title. I want to wrestle for that. You want to talk about winning a prestigious title? Never mind these plaques in the background. That's what I want to go after.
You could wrestle on that.
That's the match stipulation. If you get pushed off, it's like a sumo wrestling ring. If you get pushed off, you lose.
I would love to hit someone with it and have to do a stretcher job. Like, he's dead. You see how big that title
was? Holy crap.
Who is everybody's favorite champion in WCW?
Ooh, WCW.
WCW champ?
I would say I liked Hollywood Hogan. To me, he's like that's like the WCW world champ, like the NWO spray painted belt. But I remember I wasn't watching WCW as much, but when like Booker T finally won the WCW title, I thought that was pretty awesome too.
I liked the streak when Goldberg was.
I like Kevin Nash. I like Kevin Nash's long run after he ended the streak.
I don't think I ever watched WCW.
You didn't watch WCW?
Until I found out that they were going. I was a big WWF guy. Used to love it.
Yeah. You know what I did? You're from the East Coast, right?
Yeah. From Rhode Island.
Yeah. So I never, because I'm from Minnesota, Midwest. I never had that like allegiance that I know. Like growing up, I didn't really know about that. People down south really love WCW. People Northeast really love WWF. And like would not watch the other ones or would hate the other ones. But like I was in the Midwest, so I was like, I like them both.
It's funny. I remember sometimes a couple times when I had traveled internationally, and I try and explain people like, "Oh, you're from the United States. Where are you from? Rhode Island?" And they think it's New York. So, yeah, that's right. I'm part of the New York office too. What is a pay-per-view that you guys would want to come back? What was the? It wasn't a thing. I don't know why I thought it was a themed pay-per-view. It was just Backlash that had the hooks. I guess Backlash still happens with the hooks. Yeah. Great, it doesn't specify set.
Yeah, Great Balls of Fire 2.
If somebody came to a meet and greet and wanted you to sign a clean pair of their underwear, would you do it?
Man or woman?
You can't just,
It's a clean pair. They did specify it's clean. True. I wouldn't care.
Yeah.
Good.
I'd probably draw something on it.
Who is the hardest hitter in pro wrestling?
The hardest hitter in pro wrestling?
Like strong touch style, this guy's tough, or like holy shit, this guy's really stiff and he's hurting me.
I don't know. Yeah, let's spill the beans as far as who's extremely unprofessional to work with.
No, that's not what we're saying.
I'm busting chops.
Not unprofessional, but I've had a few talks with my old buddy Cedric Alexander.
We have a nickname for Cedric in the locker room.
Ledric?
Yeah, that's it.
But he knows this, though. We've told this to his face. He knows.
So you think knowing would lead to...
You'd think.
But...
I mean, he has to feel my head under his boot, right? He feels that. I should.
Let's see. Somebody wants us to reveal inside jokes on the chat. Yeah, good night, Padre.
Yeah.
Reveal.
Let's see.
Monkey Mike gifted that tier 1 subscription. Thanks, brother.
Cool. I'll throw you guys an easy one. Would you want to be on the cover of a 2K video game or star in a movie?
Like either or. Like
I guess it's an either or question. I thought it was just a general yeah, but it's an either or. Would you prefer to be on the cover of the video game or in a WWE produced movie?
I'd rather be in a movie.
Yeah, I think it's a WWE produced
you're a video game guy.
WWE produced movie. So yeah, I am a video game guy. I think being on the cover of the video game would be seen by more people that would watch the movie.
I just feel like because you're a big gamer, wouldn't that be like a dream that like I am a game?
I mean, dude, being in the game is crazy. Like that's
Awesome,
insane.
right?
Like us being in the game, that's nuts. That was like a moment in like our careers where I was like, "Ah, cool, we did it." You know, like, come on, we grew up playing those games.
The video game and the action figure were the two things
Yeah,
that meant a lot to me.
crazy.
Do you guys have any say in your WWE 2K ratings?
No, I think I'm the worst one. Legit. You know,
Please,
actually, I think
please make me the lowest.
I think I'm higher than Lana. That's the only person I'm better.
Wow.
I think you have say if you've done mocap for the company. I think that's how it works. If you have a prior history of doing mocap there, then you have a little say. But if not, no.
Really?
I'm just guessing.
Drew, were you ever concerned that you were going to come in at over 205 pounds?
No, I've never weighed over 205 pounds until like recently, like when I tried to. So no, I've never been that heavy before. So like right now I'm 204, like today 204. But like I've never weighed over 200 pounds until I came to WWE and saw that the limit was 205. So people were saying for a while that like there's no way that guy is 205 pounds, and I'm like, great, I know how to walk around a ring. So that just made me feel good about myself.
When I look back at old pictures from like our first year there, like the tag matches we did, you look skinny as shit.
Yeah.
It's very noticeable how much size you put on.
And I still don't even feel like it, you know. But yeah, sometimes the pictures look good.
Dream Survivor Series team. You can't pick 4 Brock Lesnar's.
What? They said that?
Yeah.
Is that in there?
I swear to God.
Because that's my answer.
Or Brock Lesnar.
Yeah, it says 4. Yeah, I say me and 4 clones of Brock Lesnar.
This ain't the video games, pal. This is real life.
I said clones. I don't know. Come on, Dream Survivor Series team.
Okay, fine. If it's not a fun question, we'll skip
Me,
any.
Brock Lesnar, Ultimate Warrior, Goldberg, and who else? Peak Stone Cold.
Yeah, I would just surround myself with my childhood favorites. It'd be like Austin, Rock, Hunter, Brock. Like, yeah, great.
It doesn't even matter if you win at that point.
Yeah, no.
You're like, yeah.
Okay, everyone, take a picture of this.
Was there ever any names discussed for a tag team for the two of you guys besides Zotrain?
Did we have a couple?
No, I remember a few times I wanted to pitch like making me, you, and Tony because they tagged us so much. Like we did so many 6-mans the first like couple of years. I was like, you just make us like a legitimate faction, but they were like, no, you guys are jobbers.
I mean, we were the fitness friends unofficially.
That's right. I forgot about
that. What's your guys' favorite wrestling video
hold
games?
On. Someone said it was no. There, it was Oil Money. Someone said that we should call Oil Money when I wore the cowboy hat.
You did cowboy hat. That's right. So we did have a tag team, man.
Yeah.
Right, what's your guys' favorite wrestling video games?
Mine is No Mercy, hands down.
Yeah, No Mercy, Revenge, or Wrestlemania 2000.
Any funny stories, Ariya, rooming with Noam?
I don't have. You know what? Actually, here's something that's kind of funny.
Nothing that I want to share publicly.
So no. Here, so the one time I shared the room with Noam, like he was great roommate, awesome. And then we wake up in the morning and he goes, good morning. Do you have any cool dreams?
Did you?
I don't remember.
Oh man!
But I'll never forget that. Do you have any cool dreams? He was so serious when he asked me that.
Drew, this is coming in from the Beyond Wrestling Uncharted Territory live tweet, the hashtag IWTVXPDT. But we're showing a match with MJF and David Starr as a tag team, and somebody said that they missed the opportunity to wrestle as Kvetch can.
Kvetch can? That's great.
What does that mean?
Kvetching is like complaining in Yiddish.
Oh, is it racist then?
He's kvetching. No, it's not Yiddish. We were proud of that shit, you know? Eastern European Jews would like take pride in that stuff. But that's
so awesome. That's a good joke then.
That's an awesome
I can retweet that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, you can retweet that.
Okay, cool.
You should steal that. You're a shooter.
I'm going to steal it.
Jewish, yeah.
Next time on commentary, you're going to drop that on Michael Cole when he's not expecting it.
Oh, this is a good question. Do you guys have access to dietitians and nutritionists at the Performance Center?
No. That's something that they've been talking about getting for a while,
Yeah.
but they always push people to like to have one privately. Same with like a chiropractor and stuff like that. Like they have a medical staff already, but as far as getting like massage work, they actually have a massage trainer in there. But
Yeah.
getting like holistic medicine that's considered holistic or dietary. But I mean, they talk about it. It's just a matter of them expanding the personnel.
You guys do like a lot of prep meals on the road, or what's diet look like? I guess when you're at home training and also while traveling.
I have an app that does all my like diet and stuff for me. It more or less just tells me how much like protein, fats, and
Which
carbs
app
I
is
should
that?
eat. Avatar Nutrition.
Avatar, okay.
Yeah. So I kind of do the whole flexible dieting thing. So as long as I stay above or below a certain number, I kind of eat whatever I want. But when those numbers get low, that's when you end up eating crap like chicken breast and broccoli and all that boring shit.
Somebody wants to know how much cash you have on you right now.
Never know. Daivari Dinero never spills the beans.
I got like $60.
My wallet's in the other room.
Here's a
nothing in
little
there.
here's a little Daivari Dinero secret. I'm a very plastic guy. I actually very rarely have cash on me. I use my card for everything.
I bury my gold in the backyard.
Ron Swanson style.
Drew, how did you come up with the idea to put a headlock on a pineapple in your ring gear?
I mean, what do you mean? Like that's an exercise I use to stay in shape.
I thought it was a fair question. I didn't think the person was patronizing.
Yeah. I mean, pineapple. I mean, first of all, practice like you play. So like I wrestle in my ring gear, so I train in my ring gear as well. That's something I've been stressing to Mr. Daniel Bryan, and the headlock squeeze is a very old technique that's been around for hundreds of years, if not thousands of years, going back to like the Roman Colosseum days. So you can use any object, a round ball or something that's shaped like a head, and you just get it under there. And the trick is to really expel your lungs when you do this exercise.
Would you do it with a different fruit, or is part of the technique because a pineapple's kind of spiny?
No, pineapple is fine. It's mostly about trying to mimic the shape of a head. If you use a smaller ball, it's more difficult. Please don't get hurt trying that at home.
Shy Sock 7. Lots of questions coming in about Paul Heyman. But this one specifically, what is your favorite time that when Paul Heyman got beat up? My favorite I like when Paul Heyman kissed Ryback. I loved that.
I don't remember that.
Paul Heyman, I feel like he's actually a guy who's been in the business a long time who hasn't taken a lot of bumps, unless I'm mistaken. But
yeah,
I always get surprised how young he is. Well, relative to how long he's been around.
Yeah, 39. Crazy. Looks great.
Him and Fauci, man, what's the secret?
Running 70 miles every day.
Did he get beat up a lot when he was in WCW and he had like the big phone? You remember that, Drew?
I
think so.
Don't remember in detail him getting beat up too much. I remember him cutting a lot of promos though.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm sure he's got lots of stories though.
If you were not involved in professional wrestling, what would you be doing for a living instead?
I'd be a teacher, I think.
I don't know what I would do. Honestly, I never thought about that. I said if wrestling doesn't work, I'll figure that out after.
I thought you guys were going to have longer answers to that, and I looked away from the screen. I'm sorry.
You already know how that match ends. What are you looking at for?
I was looking at a tweet. Let's see.
You're still playing poker.
I won again. I feel so bad for
Clean out your friends. You're gonna be that.
I got
guy.
I got every single hand, and then it's just like, well, the whole point is to win. Like, I'm not BSing you. I even threw a couple hands so people could stay in a little bit longer. Because it sucks when you're out early and then you have to sit and watch your friends play for like 3 hours. What is your favorite slap in the face moment in wrestling? Because Apollo damn near knocked out Andrade and Raw. That was a good slap.
That's the one.
That was a great slap.
Yeah.
One time at a backstage, Stephanie slapped Chris Benoit, and I remember one of the loudest slaps I ever heard. He no-sold the shit out of it. And I was like, ooh.
I know exactly which one you're talking about. Yeah.
I got a question for you guys. When there's pre-tapes happening, is it just like, hey, everybody be quiet? Or like, does everybody have to be completely cleared out? Like, can you watch other people's pre-tapes and kind of learn from the experience?
You can, but there's usually like 2 or 3 production assistants like screaming at the top of their lungs, like "Everybody, be quiet! We're filming in this area." You know, so like
Yeah.
you normally kind of hear it, but you can watch.
They treat it like a hot set. Like, hey, we're
Yeah.
going live. Get out of the shot. That kind of stuff.
Yeah, but if you're out of the shot, you can stand there and watch it.
Ophidian is really good at getting everybody to shut up when pre-tapes have to be done. He's good at yelling and clearing out a room.
Cool.
Do you guys listen to the Major Wrestling Figure podcast?
I'm not an action figure guy.
Yeah. I was really stoked about getting like my own action figure, but I don't like collect them or anything. Not anymore. When I was a kid.
Kind of a troll question, but I think that it's important for it to be answered honestly and accurately because I do think that it's really important. Somebody asked how serious WWE takes the wellness policy.
Very serious.
Yeah, unfortunately, very serious. Or it could be a lot more fun if they did it. But yeah, no, they take that shit very seriously.
No, I think WWE like gets ragged on for, but they have a way more serious wellness policy than like a lot of professional sports leagues.
Oh yeah.
Like that's something that you don't even think about when you talk about it. Like it's more strict than baseball, more strict than football. Like,
and the other thing is no one's exempt from it. I feel like in professional sports, if you're a big enough deal, like they can look away for somebody else. But like Roman got popped once. He's like our top guy, and they don't discriminate where you are in the card. Like if you fuck up, they punish you for
it. Here's a great question: which pro wrestling record would you like to break?
Which record would I like to break?
I'll answer first because this immediately came to mind. I would love to run more wrestling shows than anybody else. I would love to run a wrestling show every single day for an entire year. No days off.
Is that, you just mean like in a year, right? Like you can't do all time because then you got to do like, what is AAA, like 80 years, 90 years or something like that?
So I'd like to have the longest consecutive streak of shows in a day, yeah.
Okay, so you want to run every day, sometimes twice a day?
I would love to book a different card every day.
That's like so you want to have like a Dragon Gate kind of schedule.
I think more like when I think of some of my favorite musicians and I think of somebody like Frank Zappa, and not to say that it was quantity over quality, but I find quality in the process. So the more that I can do it, the more that I enjoy it.
Yeah.
So even if it's not perfect, it's never going to be perfect. It's art, you know what I mean? But the more opportunities that I have to do it, the better I like it.
Dude, on that note, I remember when we hit Dojo Wars 100 and we had surpassed Evolve, which was like at 92. We did that within like a year and a half because it was every week. So that was pretty cool. But like that was just weekly. I wanted to eventually run Dojo Wars daily.
Yeah.
Well,
what's the best way to learn? Is through repetition.
That's
if you've got new, if you can physically hold up, if you can do a match every day. I mean, that was, not to hijack the chat, but that was one of the reasons that I wanted to do Uncharted Territory. Is there were so many wrestlers that we worked with that went to WWE and then AEW, and then it's like, well, we have to get the next crop of wrestlers ready as quickly as possible. We were able to accomplish, in 3 months what would normally take a year because we could do 12 shows in 3 months instead of one show a month.
I don't know a lot of records other than like titles being held for a long time. It'd be Bruno Sammartino's title record.
All right, hold on. So 13200 says, "Isn't Mike Trout on HGH?" First of all, HGH is not, that doesn't show up on tests, right? Human growth hormone.
Who's Mike Trout?
Mike Trout's a baseball player. Okay. So they were talking about my MLB thing. But human growth hormone, I think, it's a natural secretion from the brain. So
and the other thing too, when it comes to some of those things, again, like
they look at testosterone levels. Yeah.
If you're Mike Trout and you're super famous, you can get a doctor to sign off on it for you.
Right.
If he goes to a MLB and says, "This doctor says I have to take this," well, I'm not going to question
it. What is your favorite carry-on product? What are some must-haves when you're traveling so much?
My trick is to not bring anything. Yeah, of course, headphones.
Yeah, noise canceling headphones.
Yep. Yeah, big time, game changer.
But I compared to most guys, I think I travel pretty light. Like I don't have a Switch. I usually don't bring my laptop or iPad. Like everything I need to do, I just do it on my phone. That's good enough for me.
I never check a bag, and I never bring like a carry-on suitcase. I'll bring like a duffel bag, so I'll be able to fit my Switch in there. Like that's what I'll bring for me.
DCC0209 asks, do wrestlers read the dirt sheets?
I don't.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't take them seriously, but especially right now during quarantine, I'm on my phone for like 15 hours a day, so I'm definitely gonna like look up random wrestling shit, just kind of see. But I don't take them seriously because I work in the WWE now, so the amount of stuff I see reported on the WWE or about certain guys that I'm like, well, I know for a fact firsthand that's not true. That's why I can't ever really take them serious.
I do obsessively because I think that to some extent, if the information is out there just by other people interacting with it, it becomes a reality to an extent. So it's important to be able to filter out what's fake from what's real. But I also think it's important to know everything that's out there. So I always try and keep up on as much industry news as possible, even if the majority of it's bogus.
And I'm saying, like, they do report factual stuff. Like, if unfortunately someone gets released, that's where I kind of find it.
Gesundheit.
Bless you, Natalie.
Doing in my Zoom chat.
Yo, is Louis still over there?
Yeah, he's sleeping.
Aw. Louis.
Somebody's asking, is there a wrestler whose gimmick you preferred at another point in their career? For example, Drake Maverick as Rockstar Spud.
Yeah, Drake Maverick is Rockstar Spud.
You know what's one that I've come around on as an adult that I hated as a kid? I didn't hate, but I did not like American Badass Undertaker because I like Deadman Undertaker. I was very like upset about it when he switched. When I go back and watch it now, I was like, American Badass is pretty cool.
Biggest culture shock on the first tour of Japan.
Biggest culture shock? How clean everything was. Have you've been over there, right? You've never been? It's very clean. It's very clean. Everyone's very friendly. They smoke cigarettes a lot, but like
Really?
it's clean to the point where like there's almost no trash cans around. So when you're done drinking something, there's no trash on the ground. So like you can't throw it on the ground, can't litter. You just take it with you and you just hold on to it until you have to. It's actually like a crazy concept to like hold on to your trash. Yeah, very clean, lovely place.
I'll kind of expand on this question a little bit. Do you guys ever read reviews of your matches?
Reviews? I mean, like if like a friend wants me to, I'll read it. But like if it's just,
it's
I don't like
more
look.
important.
I don't like look on my phone through the websites. Like, oh, where's my match? Okay, talk about my match. Like I don't know.
In WWE, I've done the same thing that I did in my independent career. And on the indies, I would usually always try to go find the promoter right after my match and just say, were you happy with it? And if they said, yeah, like, I don't give a fuck. Anybody else was like, that match sucked. I was like, well, the guy who's paying me and the guy who booked me said he liked it. So
yeah,
that's what so in WWE, when I get to the back, if it's Adam Pearce or my agent or whoever, I go, did I do my job and everything right? All right, good. Then I'm happy with it. Mm-hmm. That's all that really matters because that's what gets me booked again and gets me continue getting paid.
Right.
Do you guys watch Sheamus's Celtic workout videos on YouTube?
I've been on one of them.
Yeah, I filmed the one him and Tony did. I filmed that one.
Oh,
I've seen a few of them. Yeah, they're cool.
Jasperino has a questions about trans rights. I don't know if Jasperino was in the chat last week, but I think that we very much touched on like how important acceptance is, not just in professional wrestling. Obviously, this is wrestling based, but across the board in every facet of life.
Yeah, of course.
Any wrestler who is exactly the same on screen and off screen, or is there anybody that is completely different in person than they are with the character they portray?
Yeah, you'd have to. I think that's the crazier one, is if people are different.
Yeah, I'm trying to think who's different.
While you guys are thinking of that, I always find that the funny wrestlers, the comedy guys, are the ones that are like so mopey to be around day of show. Like, they only have the energy in them to like turn it on when the camera's there, and it's like they're completely sucked of any sort of fun behavior.
That might be like a comedian thing too. I've been around a lot of stand-up comedians that are like that.
Enzo was a little Enzo, right?
He was the same.
Yeah.
He's the same dude.
Enzo on TV is kind of Enzo in real life.
Yeah. Same guy. Good one.
I think who's different, though.
Yeah, I can't. I don't know. That's tough because that'd be more
Uh,
fun to talk about.
has there ever been a point where you almost broke character while wrestling?
I'm me when I wrestle, so like
Yeah.
I would never do anything that's too crazy outside the realm of what I'm doing.
Yeah. Like even on like my first like year or two on the independent scene, I really like leaned into like the chic Middle Eastern thing. But after that, like I still wore some of the stuff, but like I was just myself as soon as the bell rang. I was just like a typical regular heel, you know. I would speak English and fuck with the fans and all that kind of stuff. So and anytime fans would say something funny, I'd always laugh. It was Alex Shelley who told me once. He goes, "If the crowd knows you're having fun, then they're gonna have fun." So anytime someone would say something funny, if I would laugh at it, they would laugh too, and everyone's having a good time.
That's great.
Somebody had a question about that earlier, but I didn't know. I kind of glossed over it. But now that you kind of brought it up, do you prefer kind of the character you started off with on the Indies, or do you prefer what you're doing now?
I like what I'm doing way better. And I really, when I first started out, it was just you don't know anything about the wrestling business, so anything you think that's going to give you a leg up or help you, okay, I'm Iranian, I can do something like the Iron Sheik, something like my brother did in WWE. Like, why wouldn't I lean into that? But as it got going more, like, just you just kind of get away from it. Like, I was never, and I like characters. I don't like gimmicks, so it's different to me, you know. So I'm still just a regular guy. I'm still just Ariya Daivari from Minneapolis, Minnesota, but I just happen to be Persian as well too. So, like I say, what do they always say? You turn yourself up to 11, which is really who you are. So I prefer what I'm doing now because it's just more similar to who I really am.
What's the most embarrassing thing that's ever happened to you in the ring?
Embarrassing? Losing to Leo Rush.
Lashley.
You can't think of anything. Anytime you fuck up, anytime you like very obviously fuck up, you know, like, I fell on my face pretty bad the very first time we wrestled in Minnesota for WWE.
What'd you do?
I watched
Because I remember the crowd
hundreds-
being real into you.
So that was the second time. It was like right when we got signed. It was when the Superstars was still around. So we did an episode of Superstars, and we were in the XL Energy Center. So it wasn't Target Center yet, which is the other one. But Cedric's in the corner, and I come running at him to do like a splash. And I don't know what he does. When I jump in the air, he like moved and sideswiped me, or like pushed me to the ground. So it looked like I just went up and just like fell on my face. And I heard like the crowd like audibly like, what the fuck? And I was like, God damn it, we're in Minnesota. Like so many people have seen me wrestle for the first time in my hometown. And there's out like Cedric. I don't know what he did. It was 100% his fault. It was very embarrassing.
So nobody ever pooped themselves in a match or anything like that.
I came close one time.
I've taken it home early because I knew I had the shit. So I was like, all right,
Yeah. Wrestled Mike Mondo at NYWC in Long Island, the home of Tony Nese. And this dude was so excited for this match. And I had taken like pre-workout, fat burner, coffee, like all three, like the deadly trio. And middle of the match, I start getting the rumblies, the rumblies.
Bubble guts.
Right, I got the bubble guts going. And then the finish of the match is him doing a splash off the top. And he's also like a thick boy, so he's like a little barrel guy. And I'm just waiting for this thing, like, oh, come on, please hold it in. And I'm squeezing, I'm holding. I was like, boom, he hits. I'm like, is it okay? And I'm like, yeah, I think it's okay. I think maybe a little bit came out, but I was okay. And then, right, I know the match is over, so I can go to the bathroom right after. And the way the bathroom's set up there, you have to go.
You're gonna go with the fans.
You're right. There's the bathrooms in the back where the fans are. So you go through the curtain, through the locker room, and then out the front of the locker room where the fans are, and then you just go into the little bathroom on the side. So like I'm laying there, the splash happens 1, 2, 3. I'm like, yes, I got through it. I can get out of here now. He grabs the mic and starts cutting a promo on the fly. And I'm sitting there, and I'm just like, thanks, man, thank you. And he's talking, he's trying to say, like, you're great, thanks for, like, he was happy that I put him over, basically.
Yeah.
So he's trying to put me over, like, on the mic, like, thanks for, like, you're what wrestling's all about, like, just going on. And, like, I'm like, thank you. And I just roll out of the ring while he's still talking. And he's in the ring, still cutting the same promo on the fly. I go through the curtain, through the locker room, come out the back, go into the bathroom while the fans are in there, and he's still in the ring cutting this promo, and I'm just taking a huge dump, gear and all, while this is going on. And then, like, by the time I got out, he was just finishing up his promo, and that was my close call.
Have you ever been on a show? I don't know if it's ever happened to be on. Has the curtain ever fell and everyone was just like sitting there? Has that ever
couple
happened to you?
close calls, absolutely. And instead of like, hey, let's pick it up and put it back, everybody just kind of scatters.
I'm saying everyone, either scatters or freezes. But like, I've definitely like tied my boot and the curtain just falls. I was like, oh hi everybody, like I should do something, but I'm just gonna sit here and like.
Wait, do you remember? Were you at Brian Kendrick's Pro Wrestling with us, Ariya?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you remember when the curtain came down there?
Yeah. The dude with the airplane came out. He knocked it over. That's right.
13,200 asks if you ever regret taking something with you on the road. And while you guys are thinking about that, I'm going to share a story about the time that we had Kimberly's farewell match.
Okay.
And I dropped her off at the airport after the show, and she handed me mace. Like, I can't take this with me on the airplane. And for some reason, I decided to keep this in my bedroom.
Okay.
At my house.
Yeah, all right.
Just at some point, like in a corner of the room, tucked away. And so, for whatever reason, my folks decided they wanted to rearrange the room since I'm no longer occupying it. And my mother thought that it was air freshener. So she sprayed the whole room.
Oh.
And then she started like, I don't smell anything. And we had just gotten in the house. We had just gotten
pepper spray.
What do you call it? Central air. So it carried it from that room throughout the entire household. My parents had to leave the house because they pepper sprayed themselves with Kimberly's pepper spray from 5 or 6 years ago. Which, why wouldn't I just throw it away? What do I need pepper spray for? Why would I just tuck it in the corner of the room? So, yeah, I regret taking that on the road.
I'm trying to think. I don't think I've had anything.
Yeah, no pepper spray. But I don't know. Anytime I bring stuff that I don't need, I feel like such a jerk for bringing it. Like too much clothes, just packing like extra stuff. I don't know. That's why I decided to start packing light, I think.
Okay. Are we gonna get Daniel Bryan on Zoom sometime?
On Zoom? I think he's still trying to figure out tout.
He's obsessed.
Yeah. He's still trying to make that work.
Who's the funniest WWE superstar?
I mean, for me, the funniest was always Dean Malenko backstage.
Yeah, Dean Malenko, very underrated, funny. Luke Gallows too. Gallows.
Oh yeah, of course. But you expect him to be funny, I think.
Yeah.
You know, Dean
Malenko's very like underrated, funny. Like you'd have no idea.
Our greatest sport wants to know favorite wrestling hand gesture. Mine is the newest one that's been introduced since watching Uncharted 4, where the guy flips the paper from one side to the other. I'm going to make sure that start gets incorporated in wrestling
in this game, right?
It looks like a movie at times, okay?
Yeah.
It's
like
so accurate at times.
We were talking about, man, it'd be crazy like if we were in this game and we started playing another game as his character in a game and he started playing Crash Bandicoot for real in the middle of the game. Anyway, there's a thing that happens where like if you discover like a treasure, like, wow, you found the cup, right?
Yeah.
And then it's like you can click on it to examine it, so then you just see a hand like this, and then his hand starts turning like that. Like more than it's
yeah.
Anyway, that's what
that's gonna be a wrestling thing.
Yeah. My favorite hand gesture, I think SATs used to do, so they did this one. This is Red's thing, and Spider Nate Webb also, because he's a spider. But then the SATs used to go like this, and I didn't know what it meant. I think it's a gang sign. Yeah, they used to hold that up.
I heard the SAT are coming back.
They're always coming back, man.
I love it. I'm going to see those guys do a top rope Spanish fly when they're like 185 years old.
Terry Flunk climb, wobbly legs.
I wonder if they ever wrestled. I don't know why I can only remember them as this right now. I don't even know that they ever wrestled it. The Samoan squad or something like that. The two big fellas that had like the full singlets and maybe the pointy toes. They were like a brother tag team.
Samoan squad. I think I know who you're talking about.
It sounds familiar.
I don't think they're Samoan.
Something SWAT team.
You're not talking about like the Nigerian Nightmares, though, right?
No, but let's talk about them, please. Did they wrestle the Briscoes at like a CZW reboot show? Like, oh, we're taking CZW in a different direction. Nigerian Nightmares versus the Briscoes. Here we go. And I think Brody Lee was on that card too, right?
They had a manager with them too, who came out and threw like talcum powder into the air and
The
like
woman,
wore the
right?
white. Yeah, she wore like the white makeup. Had a rain shaker, whatever it was. Yeah, rainmaker. Yeah, they were a sight. I think the one guy passed away. The big guy, sadly. But man, they did some crazy stuff for big dudes.
Talk about like the epitome of pro wrestling. Just seeing like a completely strange, like
freak show act,
like,
yeah.
Love it. Let's see. Worst wrestling injury. That's always fun to talk about. Getting hurt. Come on, guys. Let's have fun tonight.
Worst wrestling injury? I broke my nose. Actually, my sacrum getting knocked out of alignment was the worst one.
What's that?
Tore my tricep. Had to get a surgery.
Nice scar. Look at that scar.
Big zipper.
Somebody is asking about crossover and wrestling. Basically, is there interest on your guys' end personally to do interpromotional matches?
Me? Yeah, I'd love to see
that.
that.
That'd be awesome. I wish anytime I turn on like an old Starcade and they're like, Starcade with the wrestlers of New Japan. I'm like, man, that's so awesome. I wish I could
do
that shit today. Yeah.
I like this question. What's your favorite arena to wrestle in?
Mine would probably be Target Center, just in Minneapolis, because I've just been going to there since I was a little kid. I was pretty happy we got to wrestle in the Joe Louis Arena.
That's crazy.
That got down. That Allstate Arena.
To Madison Square Garden.
Yeah, but that was a terrible experience.
With the baby? Yeah, I've done it a couple of times, I guess.
Allstate Arena in Chicago is pretty awesome. And Staples Center. It's like the big famous arenas, like for big cities, I should say, Toronto, New York, LA, like those are always fun. They're all really.
I'll tell you what, Tacoma was amazing when we did that match at Stomping Grounds. Dude, we had like amazing.
Right. West Coast was really good.
Yeah.
Me and Ali wrestled in Seattle once. I remember the crowd was really hot for it.
Do you typically eat before or after a match?
So I try not to eat anything before 90 minutes before my match. I'll give myself like at least an hour and a half. But mostly after. Like I'll even fast on certain days before a match because I don't want to look as bloated.
Have you ever forgotten to kick out of a finish?
Have I? Maybe it comes. So. No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I don't recall something that ever happened.
Question about Brooch. I don't think Brooch is a name. Let's try that one again. Bruce Pritchard's involvement.
What's the question?
To what extent do you guys interact with Bruce Pritchard?
I mean, he's really cool. We can talk to him. Yeah, he's the head of SmackDown Creative, so he does what Paul Heyman does for Raw.
I talk to him sometimes about his podcast, like just certain episodes and stuff like that.
I had a horrible experience going to one of his live podcasts. It was him and Eric Bischoff, and they were just like, we're not gonna actually discuss that here. We're gonna let the fans ask questions. The first question this fan asked was like, on this episode of Monday Night Raw in 1996, Bret Hart, I think he knew that he was already going to be leaving for WCW, but I'm not sure. Why did he wear boots with white trim that day? And Bruce Pritchard is like, what are you talking about? Like, why did you... That set the tone for the rest of the night. That's not Bruce Pritchard's fault, though. Have you ever been mistaken for somebody else in public? If so, do you roll with it?
Oh, yeah.
I get called Ali. Yeah.
You get Ali.
Ali all the time, man.
I know Nice gets Elias all the time.
Yeah.
I guess. I guess I could see that. I don't know.
Yeah. No, same, I don't know. Beard.
I've been mistaken for one of the Singh brothers, too.
Oh, yeah? Which one? This is important.
Yeah, I don't know. Just ask me if I was one of the Singh brothers, and like where Ginger was. I'm like, I don't fucking know.
Oh, I've gotten Sami Zayn quite a bit.
Because you guys got beards?
Yeah, because we look like this in the face.
You don't look like Sami Zayn at all.
No, I don't.
I love this question. This also comes from the fan of Mojo Rawley. Did you guys cry when Kofi Kingston won the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 35?
Did I cry?
I don't know if I was still in the building. I might have left by then.
How about this? I'll add to this. Are there any moments in wrestling that did make you cry? I'll tell you when I cried. I cried. We didn't really have anything good lined up for Biff for American Honor one year, And just last minute, it came together that he got to wrestle Eddie Edwards, who he had a long-standing rivalry with.
Oh, yeah.
Just kind of like, just in the middle of the card, just throwing it out there, like, yeah, even though they just did an Iron Man match, we're gonna do Biff versus Eddie again. And then Eddie came out, and the crowd was like, ah! And I just started crying. But I don't think I was crying because I was happy or sad. I think I was just overwhelmed because that's just the energy just forces it out of you.
Yeah, you're a crier.
I do cry at shows sometimes. Absolutely, I get moved.
Yeah,
I do. It can be a very moving experience.
I haven't cried, but I definitely been I have been deeply moved by professional wrestling before.
Yeah, I think whenever I have to do like a 10 bell salute, like that's tough. That's pretty tough.
It's tough.
But other than that, like I'm pretty dead inside, so I don't.
I was gonna say sad stuff.
I'm immune.
Doesn't count.
I'm immune to it.
Like sad, we're not counting sad stuff, right? Because I went to Eddie Guerrero died in Minneapolis, so I was at that like tribute show at the Target Center, and like
wow,
everyone was like crying all night. But that was.
Well, I think that counts. That's not an experience that everybody else can say that they shared. I mean, that's pretty moving to probably be in an event.
It was crazy.
A tribute like that.
Literally, my first year of wrestling, like Chris Cash died, and at a young age, he was like a CCW up and comer. He's one of my friends, and like that's one of my first experiences in wrestling. And then like every year, there'd be another person in Combat Zone Wrestling who like untimely passed away. So it sucks. But like, I can't think of anything during a match that made me start tearing up.
I'll tell you what, you really trivialized the fact that I was moved by Eddie Edwards' entrance. That I teared up.
What's wrong with that? No, it's great. I think it's beautiful.
During live events or shows, do you guys feel worried about parking out in the open? Do you get a private parking lot away from the fans?
So I'd say some fans don't understand boundaries, and it can be pretty difficult. But I'll also say that WWE's security team is incredible, and they're ready to be like, all right, let's go, let's get you in the building. And then there's times when you want to go and like say hi to the fans who are standing outside when they're being respectful. For me personally, that was never something I did as a fan. Was like wait at the building early for like people to get in and like try to catch a glimpse or like get an autograph or something like that. But I don't know. Some people they consider themselves dedicated and they want to make that personal connection with you. So
you guys don't have to pay to park when you get to the arena, right?
No.
There's a private WWE staff parking usually.
Yeah, we're famous people.
Are there any arenas where there's like, we ran out of parking, sorry guys?
Maybe. I mean, so there are some arenas down in the cities where it's like you can't park in the building, so they'll have to get you to another garage, or or they'll be like, dude, just Uber to the building. It'll be easier and quicker. Yeah, valet is pretty common too.
I don't know. I mean, the logistics of some of the minutia. I mean, stuff that you guys deal with show to show. People probably wouldn't think about it otherwise.
Yeah. Think about like the ring trucks too. That's just us. That's our cars getting there. Like think about the freaking semis coming in there. Like there's 18 of them or 15 of them or whatever they got on the road.
That's. I mean, just the logistics of producing a show as often as it happens to the scale that it does is mind blowing.
Yeah.
I remember. When you had started there telling, or even just going backstage, like how mind-blowing it is, just the scope of everything. Mm-hmm. And the fact that, I mean, I remember going backstage at CZW and thinking like, why are there 80 people here? Like this is out of control. There's probably like 800 in the arena, like setting up, tearing down, and making sure that everything's taken care of for a WWE event. How do you celebrate a championship win?
Getting turned up.
Yeah, get real drunk.
If you had the power, who's one wrestler that you would sign to WWE?
Oh.
That's a lot of people.
Yeah, that could be anybody though, right?
Give me signs, not much. I'll wrestle. Let's do it.
You got that singlet?
I got that. I got that singlet, of course.
you know who I always wanted to see in the WWE was the Briscoe brothers. From
let's do that. Good call. Let's get the Briscoes in here.
Yeah. They're one of my favorite tag teams.
They'd be great. They'd be great.
Probably like
them and the Usos having matches, dude.
Well, I remember hearing a rumor a long time ago that they were supposed to be like the original Wyatt family or something, or they were going to be in the Wyatt family, and I was like, damn, that would have been a great pairing.
I'm going to ask half this question. What cities have the hardest crowds to please? It's got to be Philly, right?
It's all the Northeast towns.
East Coast, yeah. East Coast, yeah. Northeast, yeah.
Yeah. Philly is sometimes easier than like New York. Boston's pretty tough sometimes too. Like Baltimore is surprisingly very very fun crowd. I think that's pretty much the limit going down south. That's the line.
Toronto can be kind of stiff.
Philly's tough. Toronto can be tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
Drew, any stories about Trent Acid?
He was a character. I think he's someone who would have done. He'd be super famous if he didn't pass away at a young age. You know, he was like a trendsetter on the Indies. You know, he's more than a flavor of the week. He was a guy who was like ascending to be a top guy.
He was jacked too.
Yeah, he's in great shape. He had a unique look that Eminem copied when they were doing that. Not the singer, the tag team, Eminem.
Oh, when they were because they were the Backseat Boys or something.
They were the
I
Backseat
thought you meant the candy.
Yeah, the candy Eminem's copied.
How did they copy? I was like, what did they rip off?
I never thought about that, but
Maybe Big Cat can post a Trent Acid link in there because I don't think many people will know who I'm talking about just because of his situation, how everything worked out. So we can get a link in the chat for him. Yeah, Trent was awesome, dude. He was such a character. He was like the king of South Philly. He would walk around and go, "Yo, cuz." He would talk like that. Call people Marks all the time. Be like, "Mark." He'd go like this. He'd go, "Hey, Ariya."
Yeah.
Ariya.
Yeah.
Mark. And then he go, "Ah."
It's so stupid.
Sounds like
harass
Swan.
people.
That's where Swan gets it from.
Oh, yeah, cuz.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Swan knows it.
Swanee got that from him. Yeah.
What's the worst building that you've ever wrestled in?
Worst
I
building?
wrestled a lot of like shitty, like on the indies. Like I remember I had to like change in the gas station once. Shit like that.
Cashmere's gentleman's club in Jersey.
Alright. Nice strip
Yeah,
club.
they set up a ring in the back, and the strippers. This was like midday on a Sunday, would come out on like their smoke breaks and like watch the show. That was pretty bad.
Any wrestling rituals?
Sure, thanks. For me now, it's just warm the fuck up out of my neck. It's
Yeah,
broken.
stretch, getting a good stretch in. I don't have any superstitions or anything like that.
Trying to make sure that the questions that are being asked are respectful. So, if your question's not being asked, maybe it's not respectful. Maybe I missed it, but just giving you a heads up. Was there ever a moment that made you reconsider your career? At a point where you question whether you really wanted to pursue being a professional wrestler?
Nope.
No, you knew.
Yeah. Never questioned it. It's so much fun.
I remember when I got my rejection letter from NXT. I remember like sitting on the couch reading it, and like within like a minute, I like snapped out of the funk, and I was like, "I'll be all right. Like I'm just gonna keep wrestling." And like, I just didn't take it for like I didn't believe it. I was like, "This isn't it. Like I don't think this is it." Like I think I still have a shot somehow.
S. Carson asks, do you guys get ridiculed for being wrestlers the same way that fans get ridiculed for watching wrestling?
The same way?
Yeah,
it's pretty...
like, yeah, people like, some people think like wrestling.
Oh, wrestling.
Like, yeah.
It's that.
Like, I'm also a little surprised when some like, guy works like a regular job and he's like, you're a WWE wrestler or whatever. I'm like, what the fuck do you do?
Yeah, like being on TV, getting to travel, getting paid pretty well. I don't know.
I'd say it's pretty rare now that I find people who are like, "Oh, that." Like I almost never hear that. It's always like, "Oh, that." Even like when I was at Drexel, I took judo for a little bit at Drexel, and my coach or my sensei was like this 70-year-old Japanese man named Sam Karakawa. And he's like, "What do you do?" I was like, "Oh, like pro rest." I said, "Pro rest." And he goes, "With chairs?" And that's how he knew what wrestling was. So like that's more in line of the reaction that I would get from people who aren't in the business. Oh, with chairs.
Yeah, you have to differentiate people. It's like, is it Hulk Hogan wrestling or is it Olympic wrestling?
Yeah.
Because especially at an independent level, they think that because it's not TV, it's amateur wrestling, but it's not the same as amateur style wrestling. So
yeah.
TO_054 said that he showed up or she showed up and wondered, Mr. Gulak, how it is working with Danielson.
Oh, he's great. Yeah, he's the man.
You guys have a 6-man tag coming up.
We do. Yeah, big 6-man tag this week. I got cleared from my scepter injury.
Oh, that was the injury, the scepter.
Yes.
Yeah. I thought you had a part on your body. At first, I was like, oh,
my sacrum. My sacrum got knocked out of alignment.
So that's something different too. What's a sacrum? Let's get back to that.
That's the bone in between your hips.
That's right.
Your pelvis?
What? No. So you got your hip over here, you got your hip over here, and then in the middle is a triangle bone. It's the sacrum. On the bottom is your tailbone.
So, I gotta look it up. How's it spelled?
SACRUM.
You're saying you broke the top of your ass?
And it got shifted. It got knocked out of alignment. And I couldn't walk for like a month.
So yeah, chiropractor just like pop it back in.
Dude, so like I was fine during the match. I felt the bed bump. I was like, oh, this sucks. Literally the second I got to the back, like I collapsed and I couldn't stand up. And then from walking, it was like everything hurt and it was the most pain. I had to go super slow. I stayed at Dasher Hatfield's place, and like it took me 45 minutes to get from his guest room to like his bathroom to like take a shower. But like I drove myself home from Allentown like 2 hours with that injury. Somehow got into my apartment, sat on the couch, and I legit felt myself healing as the day got longer. So I watched Lost. That's what I did for 2 weeks. I called out of work, watched Lost. But what I wound up doing, like it wasn't getting any better. About a month into the injury, I had someone do some massage work on me. Nothing was making it feel better than finally I was about to get up from there. She goes, oh, wait, I think I know what it is. Lay down. She goes, I think your sacrum's out of alignment. She grabs my leg, pulls it up, and goes, push. And I do the, plyometrics, isometrics, where you push.
The
push resistance, yeah. And then release, and, like, fix me. I was up and walking, like nothing.
Did you wrestle the whole time you had that injury?
I think I had 2 weeks off, coincidentally, which was nice. And then like I wrestled a match, but I don't think I really did anything in the match. So
I remember when Oni hurt his knee before he got signed to WWE, and he just sat and watched the documentary of The Secret every day for like 2 months and just willed himself back into perfect health.
This is what he's doing for the. I know this is what he was doing. He wasn't doing any training. He just sat like this watching it.
Just one day he was like, "I'm good, dude." All right. I can't. This sacrum. What was this while you were at WWE?
It's a bone shaped like this. It looks like that.
No, I saw the bone now. What period? When did you injure it?
This was 2011 or 12.
Okay, so before you were signed.
Yeah, before I was signed.
What about Bobby Lashley with the like chisel?
You see that?
I don't know why they decided to put that on the internet.
That popped me so hard. I had no idea what. I'm like. I watched it. I was like, "Is this a joke or is it serious?"
I mean, it's a real adjustment technique.
Oh yeah, well, I mean that's right. But would that be the bone that it would be targeting?
That's going on his tailbone, which is below.
So that's a separate
sacrum.
bone.
It's below the sacrum. Yeah, you can feel your tailbone. It's right at the bottom of your butt. It looks like a little nub.
Maybe you can.
All right, fair enough.
What were your what are some jobs that you guys worked over the years?
I was a personal trainer. I worked for Wells Fargo for a little bit. What else did I do? I worked a bunch of like stupid office jobs. Like I just sat in a cubicle and just listened to wrestling podcasts all day and it just didn't work until they found out and fired me, and then I just got another office job.
That's like Tony. Like Tony had like so many jobs like that.
Yeah.
Just a bunch of rando ones.
I didn't want anything to like really get in the way of wrestling.
Yeah.
Like I needed something to make me money Monday through Thursday, but I think if I got like a real like serious job, I knew like a lot of my friends who got like serious jobs like, oh, I can't travel on Fridays anymore because I have to work till 5 p.m. So like,
yeah,
I always just had to have like bullshit jobs so I could always be free Fridays.
Have your weekends open, right? Yeah, same. Like mine were always make your own schedule kind of jobs. Yeah. Like in college, I was a shuttle driver for Penn for UP, and then I was a swimming instructor, and then I worked in a GNC part time. I was a clown for a little bit for Jewish kids. I did that.
What can we? What was your clown's name?
I was a camp counselor. It was just Mr. Drew. That's it. I didn't wear paint or anything like that. It was just the rainbow wig.
Do you have a picture of it?
Actually, they called me by my Jewish name. It was Naphtali. Yeah.
Naphtali the clown.
There's no picture of this. This does not exist. There's
Too
no
bad.
picture. No,
I kind of don't believe you, but
I wore pink socks, neon green shorts, some kind of like weird shirt that the lady had, and I would spin plates and shit.
do you feel like not having a safety net job, kind of like with no backup plan, like force you to have to succeed in wrestling?
That's a good point. I don't know.
I've heard that.
So
People kind of say that.
So here's my opinion on that. Like, whatever you want to succeed in, that's where your time and your effort has to go to. So like, if I'm splitting that time between like pursuing a career in engineering or whatever it's going to wind up being, like it's almost impossible to kind of it's near next to impossible to really take off and succeed. So maximizing your time is really the key. And then
the other thing that's hard for me is I never cared about anything as much as I cared about wrestling.
Yeah.
So anytime I hit the crossroads of like, I was like, I can't come in on Friday. I need to drive to Chicago and wrestle. They're like, oh, if you don't come in, you're fired. I'm like, all right, fire me.
No problem.
Like, yeah, like I'm making this booking. Like that shit was always way more.
Yeah, wrestling is like, it doesn't feel like work, right?
Yeah.
That's the thing. Like, it doesn't feel. I don't know, Drew. Does it feel like work to you?
Never.
Yeah. So.
Yeah, it's the best.
You know what I was doing earlier today? I'm trying to do for the Independent Wrestling TV Facebook page, trying to do an on this day in independent wrestling history. Okay, so this is so boring. I was on cagematch.net and I looked so it's like, okay, May 3rd. And I looked all of the results for 20 years to see if like those shows were on IWTV so we could link it to people. And like just like that, an hour and a half went by, and I'm like, I cannot believe that I passed this time. Like I enjoyed doing it. Like this is the most boring thing in the entire world. Like literally just like categorizing results. And I love wrestling. I mean, when you love what you do, it doesn't feel like work. It's the same thing with the food truck too.
Yeah, that's cool.
You know, not working is stressing me out more than anything right now.
Right.
I work 100 hours a week over what I'm doing right now.
Right.
Get back to the podcast. You said you were listening to wrestling podcasts when you had the office jobs to pass the times. What were some of your favorite podcasts?
I listened. It was kind of right when like Austin and Jericho started theirs, and then I listened to Cabanas all the time, and then Mark Maron's, Joe Rogan's, and then there's one I used to listen to called "How Did This Get Made," where they just like review shitty movies. Yeah, just kind of random ones. I think Jim Ross has one, right, or used to have one, or something like that. Yeah, that's about it.
Somebody asked this question, and I think it's in a non-condescending manner, so I will repeat it.
Cool. Thanks for the warning.
Well, the first time I read it, I was like, how come the mod didn't delete this? And then I'm like, I'm just looking at it for a
Give it to me cold.
How is a Jewish clown different from a normal clown?
I was actually about to answer that.
Okay.
I didn't mean like a Jewish clown. I meant I was a clown for Jewish children. So like there was a Hebrew school or whatever in the area. That's where I would do the clown stuff.
What's your favorite burger joint on the road?
Oh,
Whataburger, Texas.
so you're Whataburger. Whataburger is awesome.
Whataburger.
Whataburger is awesome. I'm still a Steak and Shake guy. I like Steak and Shake.
Steak and Shake, the steak burgers that aren't just. I worked at Steak and Shake for one day.
Okay.
Sorry, no, your story. You said, dude, you were way more excited than me.
Oh no, I was gonna say Shake Shack. Have you been to a Shake Shack? Have you experienced the Shake Shack?
So Shake Shack's one of the things that we can get delivery for. So I had it delivered within the past couple weeks. First and only time I had it was pretty good. But they do kind of the similar style, that smashed burger.
Yeah.
I need to use the restroom real quick, so I'll be right back.
All right, have fun.
Okay, I think that's fair.
We're over time anyway, so this is all.
Yeah,
bonus.
It's all gravy. You guys are getting free bonus.
Yeah. 122 viewers in here. That's pretty good. Pretty good right now.
Drew, what is a food that you don't understand why anybody would like it?
Marmite.
Is that-
Vegemite. You know what this is?
I know what it is, but I've never had it, and I don't. Is it bitter? What does it taste like?
It is like, it's supposed to be like umami flavored, but it tastes kind of like battery acid.
Okay, so it's a savory spread. It's supposed to be a savory spread, but I think it tastes bitter.
Yeah, there's some weird stuff in there, man. It is not good.
I wonder why people like it, because they genuinely like the taste, or they think there's health benefits to it, or
I think we eat it wrong. I think the thing is like the deal. You're supposed to get like toast, butter it up, like lots of butter, and then just a little bit of the Marmite. And that to me is like you put butter on anything, it's gonna get better.
it's gonna taste good.
Yeah.
That was a very quick trip to the bathroom.
Yeah, you didn't go to
Yeah,
the
you,
bathroom.
you save a lot of times when you don't wash your hands.
Get out of here.
This is not practicing safe social distancing right now.
I did not put the disclaimer up at the beginning.
Fauci is pissed.
I've been social distancing like a motherfucker.
Yeah,
I've been staying at home. Haven't been going out a lot of places. Getting my groceries delivered. Sitting out.
You guys got Wawas down there? What do you guys get from Wawa?
In Florida, we do, but I don't know. My go-to there is the Italian BMT.
Yeah, I miss that a lot about living in Orlando. Was the Wawas?
The Wawas, yeah. They're not even the good ones. Like the Philly ones are the real deal, where you got to get like the cashier who is not paying attention, and the guy making your sandwich who's real impatient but somehow really behind on everybody.
Are you going to play a song?
Am I going to play a song? No, I'm not going to play it. I got my guitar here. That's why.
Gotcha. Denver, have you tried Mofongo? You know, I'm kind of a
Got a level up rated. Thanks, guys.
I'm kind of a foodie, as it were, and I've only recently learned about Mofongo, and I think Mofongo is the smashed plantain in like a cone that's stuffed, right?
Sounds delicious.
If that's what Mofongo is, I only recently learned about it. I would love to try. I haven't come across it, so I don't know where you can get it in Rhode Island. Oh, who's your favorite referee to work with? This is a great question.
So mine's always been Bryce Remsburg.
Bryce did my last indie match. He's awesome. But so I got to work a few times with Mike Chioda.
Oh, Chioda.
That was Mike Chioda and Charles Robinson. Like obviously those are two go-to answers, like obvious answers, but they're obvious answers for a reason, because like I don't know, those two, just being in the ring with them, how they communicate with you and shit like that.
Like
Drake's really good too.
Drake is really good. That's cool when Drake's in there, man.
Yeah,
He always goes CZW, man. Like to me, when we're in there.
And you know what it is? It's Chioda does this, and Drake was the first one who did it to me. He must have got it from these guys or someone Iggy that. But like they're very positive throughout your match. Like I've had Mike Chioda like hit a false scene as I'm covering him. He goes, "That was awesome, 1, 2," and then like you check out. Like Chioda would do that. Drake would do that. Rudy would do that. Rudy Charles does that too.
Yeah.
Like he'll tell you throughout the match, like, "You're doing great, man. Like, you're killing it." Like that's kind of like good to hear. As
Oh my God, that's the best thing to hear, because you're in there and you're not sure half the time, like what they're, because you can't hear the audience and you're worried about what's going to happen, so you're just kind of feeling everything. So when you get that energy shoved right into your head, like that's good. You should tell Quinn to start doing that on your shows, Drew.
Hey brother, I just had.
No matter how bad the match is going.
I can't even get him to do time cues. So not him specifically, just as far as producing the show. So I don't want to put anything else on the referee's plates.
You also have to tell everyone they're doing great.
The only rules that we have for the referees is I tell them not to call the match like a shoot, because it's not a shoot. It's a performance.
John Cohn's amazing too, right, Ariya? You gotta.
John Cohn. I don't know if he's ever wrestled my matches.
He's great. Yeah, John Cohn is great.
All right. Big important question. Scale 1 to 10. How good is WWE catering?
20.
11. Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah.
1,000. So they go all in with their catering. The lady who runs it, Jen, is a machine. She freaking does everything. Now she's running the lights down in Orlando because they need extra people. They need extra people and they can't have extra. Wow. So she's doing spotlights after getting catering like hooked up. But like when they go town to town, they will send one of the catering staff to the grocery store local to source food and everything, and then they'll bring it all to the show like at 7 a.m. or 5 a.m. or whatever the grocery store opens, and then they make everything that morning. It's nuts, dude. And they make a breakfast, a lunch, and a dinner because they got to feed the crew as well as the talent.
Different menu every city?
Every city is different, yeah.
And that's the cool thing about it. Like for the wrestlers, they do have all the bullshit like chicken breast and rice, all the healthy stuff, but they have to feed a whole crew too. So there's also like giant things of like cookies and candy and like all this like delicious stuff too. So like Usually when I'm done wrestling, I go straight for like the dessert table, eat a bunch of cheesecakes and stuff like that. It's great.
Does a lot get thrown out? How much of it gets cleared out? What percentage is wiped
I don't
out?
think they. I don't. I really don't think they do because a lot of people do take stuff home.
Mm.
By the end of the day, it's just like a few tins that are left out with like stuff. It looks like you had a party and like you're just leaving it out. But then the rest of the crew comes in after everyone goes out and leaves to go back to the hotels. The rest of the crew will still come in and pick. So they're eating till like maybe 2 in the morning, 3 in the morning, trying to get everything torn down.
People really underestimate like how many people are backstage at a WWE show. Like just tons of crew people. They have a lot of people, a lot of mouths they have to feed.
Yeah.
So usually that food goes.
What's the hardest criticism you've ever had to face during your career?
Hardest criticism.
Probably getting an NXT rejection letter because I remember I like to think I killed it, and the guy Chad Gable, this was like before he was Chad Gable really, he was the one showing all the drills, and he kept telling me like you're doing really good, you're standing out, like they're saying positive things about you. So like when I didn't get signed out of it, I was very like, what the fuck? It was very deflating. You know?
Did they send you like personalized, like, hey, this is what we need to work on if to be considered again? No.
And that's the worst part about it. They said if you get accepted, we'll talk to you about that stuff. But if you don't get accepted, you're gonna get a standard email. And they said, please don't reply to it because like we're not gonna reply to these type of things. And it was just a very vague like, at this moment in time, we have nothing for you. Blah blah blah. I couldn't ask like, was it my promo? Was it my ring work? Like, what was it? Like, you couldn't ask that shit. So that's how I was kind of sucked, but just go figure it out on your own, I guess.
Yeah.
It worked out.
Same. I mean, I was told throughout my entire career like something's wrong or you're not good enough or like not doing something right or like you don't have the right physique or like you gotta change your gear and like gotta be more exciting in the ring. Like I've heard all that stuff.
What about when you had like the blue mermaid man trunks?
Only positive things.
Only positive things. Yeah.
Only like, man, more of that. And then I got rid of them, so.
Why?
Why should it? Why? Because like, how am I gonna learn if I'm already there?
Oh, I got you. Yeah.
I still have those. Those are actually in that closet right there.
Ariya, somebody asked about being compared to your brother. How you feel about both your careers?
It was annoying at first. When I first started wrestling, people used to always come up to me and just be like, "Hey man, like, what's your brother up to?" Like, I was just an indie wrestler and he was a WWE guy, so obviously, that happened a lot. But I love my brother, and once we started tagging together and like sharing the spotlight a little bit more, like I love being compared to him. I think he's a very underrated wrestler because he came into WWE as a manager. A lot of people think, yeah, he's just a manager or whatever, but he's actually a very, very talented wrestler. And
Hell yeah.
anytime when people compare him to me, I say, good. He's a WWE guy, so if you think I'm like him, then you think I'm like a WWE guy. So I think that's good.
How far ahead did his career start before yours? Because he's older, right?
Yeah, he started training when he was 15, so he started wrestling in 1999.
Oh, wow.
I started wrestling in 2006, so about a 7-year difference. We're only 5 years difference in age, but he had about 7 years ahead.
Drew, I can't help but notice you have a sweatshirt with the old WWE logo.
Old? It's their new logo.
Yeah.
Oh.
You're wrong. Pay attention. Subscribe.
Who's the go-to person to get advice from in WWE?
Right now, for me, it's Brian.
Brian, yeah.
Yeah. Roman, Cena, like all those guys are great.
Those guys, yeah. I was gonna say obvious answers. You go to the top guys, yeah. Ask them.
Bray. Cesaro for me personally, like always Cesaro.
I go to Spanky a lot too.
Spanky, yeah, of course. Yeah.
Any talent in the Performance Center that we should be keeping an eye on?
There's a lot. I don't want to say any specific ones. I'll say like out of the whole crew, there 3 of the girls like come and like ask me for help more than anybody. It's Jessie Kamea, Marina Shafir, and Xia Li. And like the 3 of them, like I think work very, very hard and are going to be very good at some point.
he's already like I wouldn't say a name, but people already know him. But I think Trevor Lee's really good. I think he's.
Oh yeah.
I think he's gonna do really well.
Cameron Grimes.
Yeah, Cameron Grimes. Yeah.
Old Cam.
The first time his theme song played, it sounded like the start of the slide level in Super Mario 64. With, like,
The slide level.
I was like, what the hell is going on here? But it's just like the harmonica that just intros.
Blah, 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 blah,
Yeah, that's exactly
it.
Who's got the best? Who's got the best like noise to like start their theme? Like Foley's like car accident, Stone Cold the glass breaking.
Ricochet's gun. his Looney Tunes gun.
Did you guys ever ask to have a sound effect added to the start of your themes?
Going to now.
I think you should. It should just be "Good night, Padre," and then your theme starts.
I don't know about you, but I heard my song for the first time at the CWC, like right before I made my entrance. Or no, we did our rehearsals once, right?
Yeah, but everybody came out to different songs.
Different shit, yeah.
Everybody came out to I came out. I think we came out to Bobby Roo's music.
That's right. They might have just been doing like our entrances and just kind of just see like. I remember not like some. I don't remember anyone ever being like, "This is your song." Like I remember it just played, and I was like,
"Hey." Wrestling with knee pads versus wrestling without knee pads. Extol the virtues.
I only use knee pads if I'm wrestling on like concrete or like a hard surface.
I think guys like Jack and Drew and Tyler Bate, you guys are insane. I don't know how you wrestle without knee pads. It's the craziest thing in the world to me.
Nope, no problems. They're healthy.
Oh man. Ugh, give the heebie-jeebies.
We got a weird question, guys. It's weird. What do you think of former Cruiserweight champions Chavo Guerrero and Chavo Guerrero Sr., or as I prefer, Chavo Classic? I don't know why that's a weird question.
I toured India with Chavo. He's awesome.
Did you? Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Cool dude. That would be great. he's a Guerrero. I don't know.
Yeah.
Don't get much better than that.
That's it, Drew. You got nothing to add?
That's what I think. I think he's a Guerrero. Like, come on, legend.
Are there any cruiserweights that don't use their real names? We can't answer that.
Oh no, we can. Who are they?
Ali.
Yeah, Mustafa Ali.
Buddy Murphy.
Yeah. We're gonna give his real name and gonna give it a social security number too.
All you gotta do is go on his Twitter and you'll see it.
Yeah.
Who else? There's not a lot.
Cedric, right? Is that his
Cedric.
real name?
Is it his middle name?
No, I'm saying Alexander's not his real last name. His name is Cedric.
Yeah, but is it his middle name? I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Oh yeah, you're right. Maybe it is. Jack.
Grand Metalik. His name is Grand Metalik.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, he's Peruvian, actually.
Lindsay Dorado. I think a lot of guys actually don't have. I think there's like 6 of us who.
Wait, Lindsay Dorado's not his real name? Oh, it's Lance.
What did Mitch Ryder used to call him?
Lindsay Dorito. Lindsay Dorito.
That guy was nuts.
That guy probably still is nuts.
Does he still wrestle, you think?
I don't think so. I think
Gulak has played some promos.
He might be in prison.
How did somebody like him and like Bull Payne, how did those guys ever get to Chikara?
I think Quack liked him because they were obscure WCW talent.
Okay.
But dude, Mitch was awesome. Like he would do seminars before the show and just talk about like Memphis style wrestling with everybody, and we would learn from him. He was amazing.
Any advice that you've gotten from Daniel Bryan and Spanky that you'd like to share with the chat?
I can't think of anything like just off the top of my head because it's more of like in the moment. Like they'll critique something about the match and just be like, "Hey, do this instead," or don't do that next time. But I can't think of anything that like blew my mind and stuck with me. Like, oh, I didn't know that until now. Just small things. Oh, you should have kept going here. You shouldn't have stopped there. Some shit like that. I know it's very vague, but
yeah, everything's been like really cool, just personal stories kind of stuff. Nothing that would be like general, like keep your ears closed or keep your ears open and your mouth shut. Like
Yeah.
not like nothing like that. Like it's always been like this is what I like, this is what I didn't like. Here's what could have been better.
I'll say this: a lot of the wrestling advice that people kind of balk at these days or whatever. That's just what they say. Like a lot of those top guys still say those same things. Slow down, take your time, sell more. Like I feel like a lot of young guys hear that today and you go like, oh, that's just standard wrestling advice. Like, well,
Yes, it is.
yeah, yes, it is. But like there's definitely still times that those guys will constantly repeat those things. And I go, oh, it's coming from the main event guy. Like I think he knows what he's talking about.
You can always get better at it.
Somebody's asking why Candice LeRae agreed to all of the blood, and I will answer on her behalf. It's because it was awesome.
Did she get super kicked with like one of the Bucks had like a spiky shoe on?
Thumbtacks.
Some thumbtacks on the boo, yeah.
God damn.
It's pretty good. I don't think I've ever seen that match in full, but people still talk about it, so it's got to be pretty good.
I miss blood in WWE a lot. Like when I watch like the network and stuff, and I watch these old like every championship match, like it was gonna be like it was almost like the title mattered, but it was like secondary. Everything was always personal, and they'd both be all bloody, and it was the best. And I miss that so much.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think it's necessarily fair to criticize it as being something that's like barbaric. I mean, it's obviously more controlled than some other elements of wrestling, and it can still happen even when it's not controlled. I mean, it's part of the risks that are involved. So if you can minimize the risk by controlling it, I don't know that it's necessarily something that doesn't have a place in wrestling. But I understand why if it's something that can't take place on television too.
Now I think it's purely a ratings.
Yeah. For me, it's just always like I never understood like if we don't do blood, then like it's more friendly. I go, this is still violence. At the end of the day, it's still violence. It's
fighting.
Blood or not, it's still punching in the face and beating each other up and that kind of stuff. So I go, you're gonna draw the line and say, oh, blood's too violent. You should say wrestling's too violent.
Yeah.
Let's not watch it.
Somebody's asking anybody that I'm eager to work with that now maybe back on the indie scene. Definitely pretty pumped to be able to work with Deanna Prazo. I actually have already started doing an interview series with her on IWTV, but she was always awesome to work with before she got signed. And she seems like she's come out of her shell a little bit more, which is always fun to work with. I don't know. I guess probably be cool to work with Zack Ryder and Kurt Hawkins, especially because of Zack Ryder's influence on the YouTube stuff, and obviously we've taken that path with Beyond Wrestling.
And how about Hawkins with Creative Pro?
No, you didn't let me. You didn't let me finish. I mean,
okay.
I was, everything they've figured out a way to be a tag team, but also be something that's, goes across a bunch of different multimedia platforms. So to me, it's interesting how they've been able to build their audience. But get back to what you're saying about Hawkins and everything that him and Pat Buck have done with Creative Pro. I mean, that's like a secret weapon for Beyond Wrestling is the amount of talent that comes out of that school that we get to work with directly. So I would say that's my answer. Which extreme match in WWE is better, Randy Orton versus Mick Foley, or Edge versus Mick Foley?
Randy. The Randy match is one of my favorite ones of all time.
Yeah, I'd say the Randy one as well.
Okay, that's it. No more questions. oh, this is a good one. Does Heath Slater actually have kids?
Yes, a lot of kids. He has more kids than you probably think he has kids.
Really?
I don't know. He's got kids. They're actually very sweet. Yeah, he's got kids.
It's good to know. He trained with Curtis Hughes.
Really?
Yeah, he's a WWE 4 guy. I always find that to be so fascinating because you think like
him and the Black Baron had the same
and Uha Nation, student. Exactly. Black Baron was just on TV for he wrestled Sean Spears last week.
Yeah. He's beyond staple.
Yeah, he was going to get a nice little elevated moment, but unfortunately he went down with an injury. He got replaced with John Silver in the tournament that year, and he never really got his momentum back. Unfortunately,
you trash that man's career because of an injury, man.
Baron, he was out for a while, yeah. And John Silver just came in, was meat manning it up and tossing people from pillar to post. So Silver's definitely one of my favorites. If anybody was wondering,
Tony puts him over a lot.
He's so explosive.
I like John Silver.
Say your
But they've wrestled. That's where we need to get some interpromotional matches. I'd love to see Biff wrestle John Silver.
Oney's easily become one of my favorite opponents of all. Like, I didn't know Biff at all before NXT or 205 or any of that shit. Then we just randomly wrestled 205, and I was like, oh, fuck, I love wrestling.
Yeah.
And we wrestled like 30 times since he's come to 205.
He's kind of a bonehead. No.
Total bonehead.
Yeah.
He's just got his own vibe about him.
But he views wrestling the exact same way I do. So every time putting the match together was super easy, and that, like, you can't ask for it better when you have the same psychology and same thought process. Like, that's when it makes the job really easy.
Yeah, gets fun.
And especially, like I said, I've never met him. I don't know him. You're wrestling this guy for the first time, and luckily everything I thought he thought, and vice versa. So it's one of my favorite people in wrestling.
Somebody asked Drew, how did it feel to be on the main roster versus Daniel at Elimination Chamber? But you are officially signed to the SmackDown roster, so you are technically the main roster. But getting back to the question about wrestling Daniel Bryan at Elimination Chamber in your hometown of Philadelphia.
Oh, it was awesome. Yeah, just being in Philly, like, was anytime I get to wrestle in front of my hometown crowd, it's awesome. And then, like, I got to have that match first time on a pay-per-view on the main part of a pay-per-view for me. Singles match with him. It was like first major singles match on a pay-per-view on a main show was against him.
Well, it was the best match on the card.
There's that.
Yeah, by far.
Yeah.
By far, that was the best match on the card.
And, like, it was cool, man. Like, he's a guy who's on a whole nother tier of, like, level as far as the company, where, like, he has a lot of influence. So, like, we got to do a lot more in that match than I'd be. Like, if me and Ariya could go and have that much time, we could have a similar match to that with, like, that much energy and stuff. But he's got so much clout where it's like, no problem, go ahead, do whatever. If it were me and Ariya doing that match, we'd be like, okay, guys, you're probably never going to be brought back again on this level. Like, if we got that opportunity, they'd be like, 6 minutes, that's it, Like,
Yeah.
It's tricky. So, like, for him, and then to have my family there was really nice. It was cool, good moment.
Hackman asks, how is Great Khali a trainer? Does he train people to be tall? We don't have to answer that. I just wanted to read it out loud because I thought it was a really funny question.
My brother's like shoot friends with Khali. He managed him in WWE to become buddies, and he offered me. He said, "Do you want to move to India for like 6 months and be the head trainer at Khali's school?" And I had to pass on it. I did not want to uproot my life and move to India.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Facade was a trainer at Great Khali's school in India.
Yo, did you say no and then Facade got hired?
It was a bunch of people. Like, I think Khali just said, like, can you get any independent wrestlers or someone who's willing to come do this?
Anybody.
Sure. But could you imagine growing up...
Tony Pizza Guy's rating with 18 Raiders.
Could you imagine growing up watching Great Khali on television
Pizza
thinking,
rated.
like, oh, I'm going to go train with the Great Khali, and then it's Facade. Now, I'm not saying that should be a letdown by any sense of the imagination. But
That's
Facade
every
does,
wrestling
like,
school.
Facade does rope walks. He wears like ninja pants. He's got dreadlocks. I think Facade's cool as hell, but I wouldn't. You know what I mean?
Wait,
like opposite
you're
ends
not
of
the Great
spectrum.
Khali? Oh no, this is so much better. It's one of the.
Gotta be
ghosts from the
careful what you
Matrix.
say, man. I'm about to blow India wide open. We're getting in there, so putting a little pitch deck together. Gotta get on TV.
Remember Khali in Saudi Arabia, Drew?
Do I what?
The only time I went. The first time we went, Khali was there.
What? But what about it? Like, am I supposed to remember something? Because I remember he was really
just
cool
being
when I met him.
Yeah, it's just interesting to be around a giant like that.
Yeah, he's huge. He's freaking huge.
It's funny. Yeah.
There's birds that perch on top of him.
That's not true.
There's a nest. Yeah, they have a nest in his hair.
He's gonna whoop your ass,
He doesn't know what I'm saying.
or he just doesn't care. He's just a benevolent individual, the Great Khali.
Doesn't know what I'm saying.
I wrestled him.
Really?
Yeah, my one and only dark match I did with the
Yes.
Wow.
WWE. Yeah, it's on YouTube actually.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, it was. So I went. It was actually how I got my NXT try. It was the very first time I did extra.
It's on
work,
YouTube.
really
I think we could pull that link up in the chat. I think for everybody to see.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Type in Ariya Daivari versus Great Khali. It's on there.
Yeah.
It was
They're
a handy
they'll link it.
So I wrestled I did a tryout match with the guy that I wrestled with, and we did a really good job. And then they pulled us aside. It was, I think, Jinder and Drew, like it was 3MB, was going to wrestle Kali in the dark match, and they're going to wrestle on SmackDown. And like I overheard them say, like, "Oh, just those guys don't have to wrestle in the dark match. Just put these two guys in there." They had me and my buddy do a handicap match against Kali. And Fit was the agent too. I remember
Yes.
I was kind of like, I was like, "What do you want me to like do to him?" And Fit was like, "Kick his ass." And I was like, "All right." So we actually like put a little mini heat on him and like beat him up and shit. And he just came back and fucking chokeslammed me and all that shit. It was cool. He got a huge pop when he came out. I remember standing in the ring and his music hit. I remember being like, "Man, people talk shit about Great Khali, but roof just blew off this place."
Wrestling Chronicle asks if I was nervous to start Beyond Wrestling because it seems like a financial panic attack. I mean, I remember John Moxley and Drake Younger being like, "Hey, we'll come in for like $80 for the weekend," and I was like, "Yeah, we don't have the money. Like, we can't swing that guy." Sorry. Pit Boss stealing VHS tapes for us to record our shows. So I don't know that I was panicked as much as just had no idea what we were doing when it started. And that's why we waited a couple of years before doing live shows.
If you could, how about this? If you could give one piece of advice to anybody who's thinking of running a wrestling show, that's not like, "Hey, don't do it." Yeah, no, for real. Like, what's one thing that would benefit them more than anything else?
Here's my one piece of advice for somebody that's running a wrestling show: is the moment that tickets go on sale, you have an obligation to the fans above all else. And so you have to think about that, because, you know, when you're putting together a wrestling show, that also means you're also obligated to your crew, you're obligated to your wrestlers, you're obligated to everybody that's going to help you put that together. But above all else, your obligation is with the fans, the money that they're spending, and giving them what is advertised, delivering beyond that to give them the best possible value so that they want to come back. So, I mean, that's always what I think of is there's people that run shows and they do it because they think it's fun or because they want it to be a hobby. And I'm not saying that there's not even necessarily a place for that in wrestling, but it's just the moment, you know, the moment that you put tickets on sales, you have an obligation to those fans more than anything else. And it almost becomes an obligation to the industry to do what's right overall for wrestling, and not just like, "Hey, cool, like just because I can afford to bring all these guys in and put together a show doesn't mean that everybody should, because they might be doing it for the wrong reasons." So right. As long as you're doing it for the fans first and foremost, you can't really do any wrong.
That's great.
Somebody asked, "Drew, I heard they wanted to have you just as a trainer. Was that true?"
I never heard that, but I heard like rumors that like, oh, maybe as a coach, but that was never gonna be. I was never gonna allow that to happen. Like, if they were gonna hire me just to be a coach, I would have passed on the opportunity.
I like how sometimes things become news, like, "Oh, we heard that they offered you a training job," but in reality, it's like they just know that Drew's a great trainer, and I'm sure somebody at some point was just like, "Oh, you know, we can hire him if we want to," you know, like type of thing. Like, it's just knowing everything about your talent.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah.
Anybody from CZW you'd like to wrestle you didn't get the chance to yet?
That I haven't wrestled in CZW? Is that the question?
Yeah, who's somebody from CZW you want to wrestle besides Leo Rush?
No, I wrestled Leo Rush. He beat me. It was embarrassing. Let me see.
Decisively.
Who was it? That's tough. I feel like I wrestled everyone there. There's got to be some people that I haven't wrestled. Why don't you come back to me on that? I'll think about it. Oh, you know what? You know what? Here, I'll put a name out there. I know Jordan Oliver. He's very talented, but he's got a lot to learn. And I kind of know him. He started at the wrestling school after I was there. So yeah, he would be fun to wrestle against, I think.
He's kind of a punk.
Yes.
And I find that fans are really drawn to that element about him.
Well, that's who he is in real life.
Yeah, I think it's interesting because some people get away with it and other people don't. Other people, it's like, "Oh, that guy's a punk, screw him." For some reason, it's like, "Oh, he's a punk and that's his appeal." Yeah. I can't wrap my head around that guy. He's done a couple matches for us. I wish him nothing but the best, but
he's also very young.
He rubs me the wrong way in a way that it's like, I don't know.
Let him.
Huh?
Like Janela was the same way when he was coming up. You know.
I think he did a studio taping with us. He might have been 15 or 16 the first time I met him. So
yeah.
I don't like that he cuts promos talking like Nick Gage. There's got to be other people to emulate that.
I don't even know that he does that.
Great question. Somebody wants to know when things go back to normal if you're going to be doing Twitch streams as frequently.
Oh, I don't know. So things are never going to go back to normal. That's what I know, at least for now, in some way. But like, my schedule will change once the quarantining kind of changes. I might even like adjust the schedule before then, because I said earlier like how we're at 11 right now. I might want to take it down to prime time because it's been growing. But we'll see. If there's a better time to be doing this, I'll adjust it as so. But I like the consistency of just being on every night at 11. I play the games anyway, and I'm free, so.
Did you ever wrestle MJF? Dylan the Dude Games wants to know.
Did I? I don't think so. He was doing business casual when I was still running the CZW school, so he was training with us, kind of. I don't think I ever had a match with him.
Oh, thank you, Big Cat, for posting the link. Jordan Oliver versus Slade.
There you go.
Question about Mike Quackenbush and his participation in WWE and WCW.
What about it?
Thoughts on it? How come he was never signed to a full-time deal?
Oh, I think just timing and like the amount of personnel that they had, and like right now they had to release a bunch of the coaches too. So plus Mike, he's very specific about what he'd like to be able to do with Chikara and WWE going forward. So he didn't want to conflict a bunch of things. So it's just it's all logistics more than anything. He was down every month as like a coach, like for a while. He would come in for a week and coach. He was great. Yeah, and like he has a relationship with a lot of the performance center kids now.
I feel like he told a story once, and I can't remember the details of it. Maybe you know about possibly getting work with WCW, but maybe WCW closed before he was able to have the match that he was scheduled for.
Yeah. So I believe when like Reckless Youth was big on the independents, he was being approached by WCW to hire him. He was doing a bunch of like job work for them, and Quack and Don Montoya they were in his circle. So all of them were like kind of getting shopped up there really early in his indie career.
Have either of you gentlemen ever wrestled Swoggle?
I never wrestled Swoggle.
He was ringside for that Great Khali match because it was like him. It was like a group for a little bit. It was Khali, Swoggle, and Natalia. They were like a trio of some sort. So
yeah,
I was ringside for that match. I had no idea what the fuck was going
on. I really like this question, as silly as it is. Have you ever applied a dragon sleeper as a sleep aid?
Maybe.
Can't fall asleep, so you just put somebody to submission?
No, I apply it and then I fall asleep.
To yourself.
I apply it to someone else and then fall asleep.
And then you're just like, yo, let me out. This hurts. This sucks. And you're sleeping for like 8 hours.
Yeah, that's it.
Because you're not getting that Fauci sleep. You're not doing the Vince McMahon sleep schedule. You're not Tony Nese. You're getting the full 8 hours.
That's it. That's how Fauci does it.
This is such a specific question. What do you guys think of the Bowling for Soup song about Alexa Bliss?
Man, crazy that she has a Bowling for Soup song about her.
Yeah.
I can't believe it. They were supposed to play at Wrestlemania.
Oh, really?
I don't know, man. I read it in the dirt sheets.
I didn't know.
I knew that. Come on. Don't you guys keep up with the news, the industry news? Tim Thatcher should be Drew Gulak and Brian's mystery partner. That's not a question.
No spoilers.
I kind of hope it's Khali. You said Brian has pull. He can't get Khali?
We don't know who the partner is going to be.
Oh, you don't get to pick?
No. I don't think... Yes. No? I don't know. I don't know for this situation if we're picking. I think it's more of like, we'll
guys
see.
are picking.
I don't know.
I know. I know that Bowling for Soup was supposed to play at WrestleMania, and I know that you guys have say, and by virtue of having say, you should pick the Great Khali.
I think we're picking.
Okay.
If Great Khali walks out and I'm like not expecting it, I'm gonna lose my shit.
What's a match that you participated in that you wish you could have a redo? I think that's a fair question. Probably wrestling Darius Carter.
Nah, that went as well as it was gonna go.
I can't. There's like when you have a bad match, it sucks. And I try to just forget about it. I've had really good matches that I'm like, ooh, I wish I could redo that so it could be like an excellent match, you know?
Yeah, I would redo the Bryan match.
Right.
Really?
Like even on really good matches, there are things you can be like, oh, if I did this better, it would have been A plus instead of an A.
Yeah.
Somebody else says that they would like to see you guys train with the great team with the great Kali.
That's where we are in the chat now, so I guess we should wrap this chat up, right?
Talking too much about Kali.
I don't know, man. Kali is there such a thing as too much Kali talk? Can we get him in the Twitch?
Yo.
Noam's a big fan. Noam loves
He's a massive
Kali.
So when Noam's my guest, I'm gonna be like, hold on, Noam, we got one more guest joining us now. Maybe I could. Oh, dude, you know what you could do with him? I'll get you to come in, but change your Zoom name to the Great Kali so that it'll look like you're entering the chat as Great Kali and make him think like, no way, no way.
I remember when we were in Saudi Arabia, I took a picture of Kali eating and I texted to Noam and he popped huge.
My buddy hired Kali to do like that Cameo website to wish his girlfriend a happy birthday. And instead of Kali being like, hey, Stephanie, happy birthday, he's like, Matt, tell your girl to have a happy birthday. This is the happy birthday for your girl. So, all right, wrap it up.
All right, cool. Yeah, this has been fun, guys. Ariya, thanks for coming on the chat today. Appreciate it.
I'll come do this again. This is fun.
Yeah, it was cool.
We had a busy schedule.
Hell yeah. Real busy schedule, right? We had a lot of people in here asking questions. Denver, Colorado, thank you so much for popping in and doing some Q&A. Post-poker tournament / Uncharted territory, same time. Do you want to plug that real quick one more time?
So yeah, sure. So every night at 11 o'clock for the month of May, we're going to be showing new episode of, not a new, but a replay of Uncharted territory. So sequentially, because we taped 31 episodes in 2019, there's 31 days in the month of May. So go to iwtv.live, which is Independent Wrestling TV's website. Sign up using promo code BEYOND. Get you a 5-day free trial. Please stay on as a paid subscriber. It's the best way to support us right now while we're not running shows. And so at 11 o'clock, Uncharted Territory comes on. That runs about 2 hours. And then Defy Wrestling, which is based out of the Pacific Northwest. I'm watching a match right now. They have Walter against a wrestler named Chef. Two big powerhouses going at it right now. So it's really awesome to be able to see like a very well-produced independent wrestling program with a roster that I'm not super familiar with in Defy. So it's cool that Beyond Wrestling gets to be the lead in as we're trying to build our late-night programming on the East Coast and build our primetime programming on the West Coast. So, yeah, and if not, anybody watching, please subscribe to Beyond Wrestling's YouTube channel. It's free to do so. We just surpassed 2.3 million subscribers today. So I threw up a match with Tony Gabbin.
Congrats.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah.
So, that's real huge.
Appreciate the support, guys. Definitely, it's cool.
Cool. Ariya, anything you want to give any parting words to your fans here?
I got shit to plug.
Well, thanks for coming on. Tomorrow is Scary Ass Sunday on Gaming with Gulak. So Drew's not all about that, but if you want to check it out, I got a good game picked out. We're going to be checking out a game called Observed. It's a horror sci-fi game. Looks real freaky. Yeah, I'm excited to try it out. Scary Ass Sunday on Gaming with Gulak.
Oh, you got Crash Team Racing?
I was playing it earlier.
Yeah, we should play that.
Trying to do that sometime. Maybe this week.
Oh yeah.
Okay, cool. We can do some Crash Team Racing too. All right, guys. Thank you very much. I'm gonna hit a raid right now. We're gonna raid Jenna, who's doing some artwork right now. So everybody, Gulak raid. Here we go.
See ya.
See ya.
Good night, Padre.
Good night, Padre. Thank you so much. That should work.
I love Good Night, Padre so much.
Good night, Padre.
Keep getting reminded of it constantly.